Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft last year. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. They monitor and alert you to identity threats you'd miss on your own, even if you're careful with your personal information. And if you do become a victim of tax-related identity fraud, LifeLock has U.S.-based restoration specialists ready to help solve your identity theft issue. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Let LifeLock help protect your financial info, so all you have to worry about is what you do with your tax refund. Go to LifeLock.com, save up to 25% off your first year. The promo code is HERD, promo code HERD, to save up to 25% off your first year. LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
WKGN 1340. Go Vols!
You're tuned in to East Tennessee's premier sports radio call-in show. This is The Drive.
You got me? Hey, all right. Jiggle the handle a little bit. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome in. Another stellar edition of The Drive underway here on Fan Run Radio. Russell Smith punching the time clock, 3:02 on a muggy Wednesday. I was telling William Patterson, the hottest day of the year so far. I was out walking a little bit before lunchtime, and it was steamy.
Did you get
out there? Most
a good sweat.
Most I've sweat all year. Yeah, it was.
Feels
thick.
good though, doesn't it?
It was thick. Oh man, it feels great.
Cleans out your pores.
Yeah, feel good. Bear's here. Bob Baskerville is here. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bobby Scoops.
I threw Bob into a state of utter flux earlier today when I did a drive-by yell at him I saw him. He was in the parking lot of my Casey's.
Just doing a scout. He kind of sticks out.
I said,
I spot Bob.
I said, get a move on it, Baskerville. And he looked out all annoyed. He was like, he was really mad.
Isn't that one of life's great joys when you see a buddy out like in public somewhere and you can just
and they're not expecting it
and you just scream just something bizarre at them.
And they're like, what?
Everybody's looking around.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Anyway, man, what a summer. Talk about like no off season. I mean, this is the best summer, I think, just in terms of content that we've ever experienced doing this show. I mean, you've got the World Cup starting tomorrow. I know Bear's super excited.
And Bob is as well.
You've got the College World Series starting this weekend. Even though we're not in it, it is a fascinating field. You've got the NBA and NHL finals going on simultaneously right now. Those series are absolutely bonkers. Major League Baseball is huge. And, of course, King Football waits in the distance. The Sheik sends me a communique last night out of the blue. The Sheik is on Substack now, which, I mean, that's a good thing. Like, if there's one thing we need more of it in this world, it's John Hodge, the Sheik. And he has written an expose on there. He has crunched the numbers, broken it down to levels that can only be described as beyond scientific. When it comes to true freshman quarterbacks, this is a big story, right? If it's going to be Faison Brandon for Josh Heupel and the Vols, what does that mean? And I think we all have a lot of trepidation going into the season with a true freshman quarterback. It's not great. And
sure,
I think if you're just recency bias alone, you look towards last year and the Underwood kid up at Michigan. They didn't have a bad season, but wasn't a good. It was just like it was meh. It was whatever. And I guess before that, Arch Manning, he wasn't a starter, but it's not like he came in and just blew the doors off it at Texas. People have a negative perception of starting a true freshman quarterback, especially in this league. Now, Haji, as I said, has broken it down. He found the numbers here, 31, as he described it, impactful power conference true freshman quarterback since 1972. So he's gone that's the first year freshmen are eligible.
Yeah, it's the early days of the modern era.
So he's gone all the way. I mean, he's compiled the entire history of freshman quarterbacks at the power conference level in college football. And I'll let him describe it. He's going to jump on here about 15 minutes, but 26 of the 31 had winning records. True freshman, this is a Haji shit stat for you too. True freshman covered 56.2% against the spread since 1994, the year of Peyton. And only one 5-star freshman quarterback had a losing record.
Who was that?
Stay tuned and find out. Great question. We'll call that a tease. So we'll talk college football with the Sheik and specifically Faison Brandon. Poor George McIntyre, just somewhere sipping a peanut butter milkshake right now. If Cody McClure didn't drink it,
we hope.
And just trying to put on a few pounds before fall camp, and nobody's talking about King George. He's not even King George anymore. He's more like he's been demoted. He's a prince, maybe a duke.
He's been usurped.
Yeah.
Maybe this is rocket fuel for him. This could be fantastic, man. Maybe he comes in and it becomes like a just tooth and nail QB competition.
I'm pulling for hey, it would give us more content to talk about here on local sports radio. And after all, isn't that what's truly important?
It's all about us.
At the end of the day, absolutely. Bob, you were working the phones. We've been covering this baseball thing, the portal news for Josh Elander. We had the Austin Knight story first. And I believe we've got some names now. People are, this is the way the portal works. Oh, we got Brody Trosclair. Great. What's next? Who's next? And the names have been hard to come by, but I think we've peeled back a couple of layers of the onion. And Josh Elander, they're trying to keep this stuff quiet behind the scenes, but it's starting to leak out a little bit now about some of the names that we're going after.
Yeah, I mean, we are hearing a few names, and one that is top of the list, and one that we've been paying attention to anyway, is pitcher Caden Suchey.
Are you waiting for the dun dun dun?
No, you're familiar with Caden Suchey.
Well, I've seen some stuff out there about him. I know he's from UConn.
Big East Pitcher of the Year.
Lefty.
And if you go searching on Google for Caden Suchey, some of the highlight videos are, will LSU land Caden Suchey? That seems to be the hot topic.
And by the way, they landed is it Bino Waters or Dino, like a guy from Notre Dame, big bopper from Notre Dame, number one player in the portal so far. They got him today. So they're going to be a factor for all these guys. So we beat them for the pitcher for Trosclair. They got, I don't know how far we got with the Notre Dame kid, if at all, but they got.
But I mean, we're directly all these kids. I mean, we're going up against LSU, Florida. Just all the powerhouse programs.
Oh, Suchey
is, I believe, has already visited.
So he's been here
on the down low. Yeah,
they brought him in. And this would he be the third start? Would that be our three starters, you think? Landon Mack, Appenzeller, and Caden Suchey? Like, if we were able to get him, you think that's it? And then Trosclair is kind of our go-to guy out of the pen?
Could be.
If he gets over the injury.
And if we got Suchey. Suchey's a lefty, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice wrinkle there. So there's that one to keep an eye on. Another one that was in town and maybe gone already, Jason Wachs. WACHS from Tulane, outfielder, All-American Conference, first team,
All All-American.
I hate that conference name, by the way, because
All-American from the All-American Conference.
Yeah, exactly.
He was previously freshman first team All-Conference in 2025. This was his sophomore year, so this would be his contract year. Reading from the Tulane website here, led the team in most offensive categories, hit 327, slugging percentage 527, on base percentage 453. That'll play. Had 9 home runs, 54 RBIs, played in all 56 games. So, and he is an outfielder, I believe.
Yeah, he is an outfielder.
Okay. I mean, that'd be good. Missed out on the Souter kid. So Jason Wachs, Wachs, is a guy that he's been in already or is coming in? Because
No, I believe he has been.
He's already been here.
Yes. And then coming in is a kid by the name of Michael Malky, who's another pitcher. And Malky is coming from Cal Baptist.
Where's that?
Corona, California.
Okay.
Which is
well, there's one of those teams that was it's Dallas Baptist that is always really good, but then there was Cal Poly was in the supers this year. This is not
San
one of those
Luis
teams.
Obispo.
Yeah. But this Malky kid, 2025, his stats were not awesome. 9.5 ERA, but he pitched in limited stints there. I just saw a video of him on Google where he pitched a complete game against Tarleton State, 7 innings, 12 strikeouts.
It's WAC pitcher of the year.
Yeah. So his 2026 was clearly much better than 2025. But
right-hander from Cal Baptist, Michael Malky. I would assume we'd be targeting him ideally as a bullpen piece.
I would think so.
Okay.
Think so. The bottom line here is, again, this is a little bit of a testimonial again on how I feel about Josh Elander. Since the season ended, I feel differently about him. And I mean that in a good way. I just feel this guy,
I do too.
They're very, very active right now. And now who knows if we're going to get any of these guys. We haven't heard anything else. GBO Kyle Beach asked about the kid from Air Force, Hanoi, and I haven't heard anything more on him.
He's left on his he already visited. He visited over the weekend.
Yeah.
I think he left Monday or Tuesday, and it's us Florida Ole Miss for him. So again, deep waters we're swimming in there. But I think Mike Wilson for BallQuest reported that the visit seemed to go well.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm struck by the season ended, and there's some vibes similar to what we felt with basketball, for my money, with Coach Barnes, and that was they got knocked out of the tournament, and that is not good enough, and that's what they're going and trying to fix.
Backing me off 6 a.m. ready to hit it the very next day.
Yeah, I mean that's Elander's reputation: highly organized, worker bee. Not going to let things slide. Tony was a little bit rock and roll, and he had guys like Elander to kind of keep him in line and keep him on task. And I'm certainly not, Tony's way was better, obviously. Like we'll see. Maybe Elander wins 3 national championships and he ends up being better. But Tony won a natty. Like Tony was Tony. He was a rock star. It's what it is. But Elander has a different set of skills. It looks like he's very competent when it comes to putting a roster together. We'll see if he's good at buying the ingredients. Can he cook the meal? That remains to be seen. But I'm encouraged.
Yeah, I am too. It's to your point. How often has it been? Well, it hasn't been that much recently anyway because of the Vitello era, what baseball was like, but. I have to say, when we got knocked out of the regional, I was like, oh God, man, we're going to get some time to fill, but the content has been flowing.
Yeah, no, it's kind of fun.
And it's baseball. A lot of it's baseball.
Well, we do this in all sports now. We do it in football. We did it in basketball. Now we're doing it in baseball. And it's fun to keep up with. It's kind of like a full recruiting cycle, just condensed into a couple of weeks. And
right.
Yeah, man, I can't get enough of it. So if you're just joining, Caden Suchy, left-handed pitcher from UConn, visited us already. Jason Wachs, outfielder from Tulane, also been here. And then Michael Malky.
Michael Malky.
From Cal Baptist.
Why does that name sound familiar? Michael Malky.
I don't know. I'll let you think about that, but we will keep an eye on these developing recruitments. Good stuff there, Bob.
Thank you.
A lot of breaking baseball news on the drive this week.
Well, let's hope we can get some of these guys too. That's the other thing, because again,
it's not done. They're just these are names we haven't heard before that have visited.
It's always exciting when you're in on somebody when you look up the name and then it's like, oh God, LSU's on him, other people are on him. That's and we saw it happen this past weekend with football too, where we beat some heavy hitters for some of the recruits coming in for Josh Heupel. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
You like it.
I did see where Manny Marin, and the narrative is that we told him, I don't know what we told him, but basically we weren't going to meet his demands, but maybe he had wanted to stay and we weren't as hot on it, whatever. He's obviously gone in the portal, but have you seen the schools that he's looking at?
No.
It's Miami, Texas, and one other SEC school. Maybe Florida. I don't know. I'm blanking, but I mean, good teams.
Yeah.
Right. And it just kind of makes me wonder. It's like, man, do we really have something better up our sleeve that we don't know about? I mean, that's exciting to think about, but it's also Manny Marin would have been a nice piece, Yeah. And I'm sure there's more to the story that we are not aware of, but it's not like he's transferring down to go play at ETSU. He's going to be back in the big time. And we might actually see him next year. Wouldn't that be a little storyline? Coming up, we go out to the desert where the Sheik has been crunching the numbers. If Faison Brandon is QB1 this year, what does it mean historically when you stack him up against other true freshman quarterbacks? It's more and more the norm. We've seen more true freshman quarterbacks start in power conference schools this decade than any other decade prior. Of course, Trevor Lawrence, Jake Fromm, the gold standards, they led their team to national championship game appearances. They also had elite defenses to lean on. A lot to go into this, man. We will start to get in the details with the Sheik when we continue next. It's Fan Run Radio. Stay with us. We're back with more right after this.
The Drive.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Be sure to like and subscribe.
streaming worldwide at fanrunradio.com and on your free Fan Run app. Shout out to the boys over on the YouTube channel, Fan Run Sports. Are they behaving themselves over there, Bob?
Where, over there?
The YouTube chat.
Oh, the YouTube chat. Sorry.
I mean, what like
Multitasking.
I got enough to do with trying to keep them engaged on the show. Now I got to worry about you too.
Take it easy, my friend.
I mean, we've literally been back for 5 seconds. You're not paying attention?
Me?
Who are you talking to?
You.
I'm let's see. Social media text on our guest who's about to come up. Cameras off. Got a few things happening, man. We're multitasking.
Whoa.
Me and Bob are trying to get some stuff dialed in on a technical level, of which you never care to know about.
So Bob's on the Tiger team now?
Bob's been on the Tiger team, bro.
And Bear's solo right now because Walker took another day off. Maybe that's what I'm a little raw about.
Hey,
take that up with Walker Smith, man.
I'm absolutely here for Bastion Walker.
I'm
every day of the week and twice
easy.
on Sunday.
All of a sudden, Bear goes from claws out to now it's just jolly. Let's have a good old time bashing the guy who's not here.
That's kind of what the drive does.
Let's go out to the desert and communicate with the Sheik. It's been a while. John Hodge, a.k.a. Haji, the Sheik, a.k.a. Johnny Blaze, returning to the Fan Run Airways. What up, Sheiky?
Hey, bud, you think I'd be in the witness protection program with all those AKAs, wouldn't you?
Yeah, man. Well, I know you've had a lot going on your plate on trying to follow this Brendan Sorsby thing and what it means for Texas Tech's opening week line against Dallas Baptist or whoever they're playing. But we're glad you could squeeze us in today.
Abilene Christian, yeah, it's pretty interesting, obviously. Let me mention real quick, you were talking about Robert Palmer yesterday, and I had to tell you, I sold an amp to a guy a couple years ago. He's married to one of those backup
Really?
dancers. Yeah, I didn't ask him if I could meet her or what she looks like now, but
those gals are probably in their 70s by now.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, but they were pretty smoking back in the day, or as the song went, simply irresistible. The Sheik chiming in this afternoon. So you're on Substack now, huh? You've ventured into the world of online writing. I like it.
Yeah, I just decided to, I started this article, I guess, based on Tennessee situation, obviously, and it led into a grander thing, and I figured I should post it somewhere, and that was the first idea that came to my mind, I guess, Substack. So it'll be on Reddit soon, I guess, and we'll see where we go from there. But pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I posted the link on Twitter if you want to go find it at Russell_Smith and read John's work here. But basically, you're talking about true freshman quarterbacks in college football. There's a stigma there, right? Oh, they don't know the system. I mean, we all remember Peyton Manning, one of the greatest to ever do it. Running, it seems like a four-play playbook back in 1994. But the times they are changing, Sheik, and there's a lot of true freshman quarterbacks playing right away these days.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 31 of them I covered going back to 1972. But as you mentioned, the times have changed. We had 31 going back to 1975, actually, on this list, and 10 of those were in the last 2 years. So it's obviously a lot more common now for true freshmen to play. Obviously, freshmen can enroll early and get familiar with the system, be in the system during the spring game, and that helps a lot. I think 2000, Phillip Rivers was the first to enroll early, I believe. So obviously in this century, it's changed quite a bit, and the numbers tell the stories. I'll just follow your lead, Russell.
No, it's interesting. On one hand, it feels like offenses are more complex when you hear about RPOs and all the different variations. I mean, I'm sure that modern football is a lot more complicated to learn from a mental standpoint than it was in 1972 when freshmen first came on board. And yet, as you said, like 10 true freshmen the last 2 years. I mean, this is just becoming the norm. All kinds of reasons I would imagine for that, with the portal and NIL factors playing into it. But the numbers say that you can be successful doing it. I mean, we threw out the two examples, Jake Fromm, Trevor Lawrence, the gold standard here. They led their teams to appearances in the national championship game as true freshmen. But as you point out in your article, Haji, they had something going for them on the other side of the ball that definitely helped.
Yeah, that's the key. Obviously, it's defense is the key for true freshmen more than it is the true freshman. By the way, it is just true freshmen I did in this article, not redshirt.
Yeah.
There have been so many of those, obviously. So, it's just there's basically I've got a formula here to see what the most successful ones are. The recipe says, and to your point about true freshmen earlier, I was just going to mention that as far as learning the playbook goes, is they put quarterbacks now in spacing, the receivers in spacing. They shorten the field. They do half field reads, things like that, so the players can just focus on their talents and gifts and not trying to remember all that stuff from the playbook, like you said, et cetera. But the recipe says you need to be a 5-star talent, appear in double-digit games, start at least 75% of them, rush for 27 yards per game net after sack yardage, have a QB rating of 145 or more, and have a top 25 defense on your side. If you've got a top 25 defense, teams that true freshmen that had top 25 defenses went 107, 23, and 2, which is 82% winning percentage. So that's a huge part of it is your defense. And the more elite the roster, the less the true freshman quarterback has to carry the weight. So you can get help from your defense. If you've got a stout running game, Tennessee has one of the top 3 O-lines in the conference. They've got a running back that can carry the load. They've got receivers that they can get the ball to that are outstanding, improved from last year. So the recipe isn't horrible for Tennessee. I just think, actually, I Googled living your hopes, not your fears yesterday. And the first thing that came up was Johnny Majors said that. So I thought that was kind of a nice inkling for that too. So, obviously easier said than done to have all those pieces on your side. But, like you said, 26 to 31 had winning records. Only one 5-star had a losing record out of 14 5-stars. That was JT Daniels at USC, and he went 5-6. So he just missed out on a winning record in his starts. But the 14 5-star quarterbacks, including JT, have gone 103 and 45 straight up in their starts. That's right at 70%. So Tennessee's win total 7.5. A little juice to the over. I think I like the over. I like Tennessee to go 8-4. Certainly. Obviously, we know the 4 games that they'll be underdogs in, but I think if they can win one of those and lose one they're not supposed to, which is, Josh's MO, we'll still get to 8.
Haji, this is good work, man. I was looking through this, and it was a stroll down memory lane for me, just to hear names like that some of the younger folks aren't even going to be familiar with, but like Rick Leach at Michigan back in the mid-'70s, and then Robert Griffin more recently. And I wanted to ask about Griffin because you talked about this. You said of the 9 quarterbacks who had 350-plus net yards rushing, only RG3 had a losing record. The other 8 quarterbacks combined to go 68, 14, and 2. Feels like it kind of covered what you went through here, kind of covered various styles of quarterbacks, right? Because you talked about Dan Marino too, and you talked about some of these others, but it comes back to that common denominator that Russ pointed to and that you wrote, and that is about the defenses. And I don't know, given what we've got happening with Jim Knowles coming in, look, the defense can only go up after what we saw last season, right?
Yeah, teams with top 25 defenses went 82%. winning percentage, but teams outside the top 50 went 64 and 74, so 46% straight up. So it's obviously we need that defense. I don't know if we can sit out that first year waiting on his system to click. Obviously, we've got to get inside the top 30 if possible to help us out. Yeah, you mentioned Rick Leach. He's the first guy on the list in 75. He was the first guy to start his true freshman season in the first game. But they had a number 1 ranked defense, and he was only 32 of 100 passing for the entire season. So obviously they leaned on their running game. They went 7-2-2. That's the only season on here that has ties. But he rushed for 552 yards. He only threw for 32%, as I mentioned, 32 for 100. So obviously, and he went to the Orange Bowl, which was a big deal, obviously, in 75. I was looking at the 71 season when Conridge just missed out on his freshman year, and we finished 9th in the country, but it was all about rushing defense then as well. So Dan Marino, you mentioned Pitt won the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah, Marino was 6-0 in his starts. The team was 11-1. But he only threw for 1,900 yards as well. So obviously it was a different times back then. So as we get later on in, I said we had 6 quarterbacks that played from 75 to 94, which was Peyton, obviously. And then in the 2000s, there were 7. In the 2010s, there were 7. And in the 2020s, we're at 10, but 9 of those in the last 2 years.
That's pretty wild. I mean, that's a pretty stark shift and something you just never saw or very, very rarely saw as the numbers show. And it feels like it's becoming more normal, starting a true freshman at quarterback. We're talking with John Hodge here this afternoon, Fan Run Radio. And Haji, Heupel has been, he's been consistent. He's gotten good quarterback play. And we talk about the young quarterback defense formula. I mean, that's kind of what he did in 2024. And I know Nico was a redshirt freshman, so he doesn't figure into what we're talking about here, but it was pretty obvious that Heupel had pared down the playbook that year, right? And that was the one good defense he's had in 5 seasons here was that 2024 defense. Looking at this year, like who knows what to expect with Jim Knowles, right? I mean, people say it takes 2 years to learn, but then you bring all the Penn State kids with him. I'm looking at returning defensive players. I mean, Tennessee's pretty old on that side of the ball. So on one hand, I'm not expecting a ton of improvement. On the other hand, there's nowhere to go but up. And on the third hand, if we're talking mutant bodies here, you've got a defense that's full of experienced players, including guys that have already played in this system. So what are your expectations for that side of the ball this year?
Well, last year we were all freaking out about this time right after spring game that is, it's going to be 6-6, 7-5. We got a guy that turns it over a lot coming from Appalachian State. And there was obviously a lot of gnashing of teeth last year, but all he did, Joey, obviously, was lead the SEC in passing yards per game, finished in the top 3 in total yards, completion percentage, and QBR. So I think Heupel's still a quarterback whisperer. I'm going to give him credit as far as that goes. Like I mentioned, the great offensive line, running back, receivers. I'm really not worried too much from the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, on the defense, the question becomes, I think linebacker we're good at for sure. Obviously, Chaz would be a big hold if we could keep him 1 year. I mentioned to somebody last night, I said, if somebody in his camp, whether it's on the staff or family or whatever, can just convince him that if he goes, sticks to his commitment, goes out and balls out this year, he can make a lot more money next year and go to Ohio State if that's what he wants to do, or maybe he decides to stay here. But it would behoove him to stay and work it out, and of course we also think about, we all said, looking back on it, they should have just gotten rid of Boo as soon as possible last year. And so now I don't want to just say we're going to go through another year of that. But I'm not about 40% maybe that he's going to stay, whereas I thought, he's gone, no chance. So it'd be surely nice to have that elite edge rusher. That would help out our offense, certainly, if we can put pressure on the other team's offense.
You mentioned, obviously our conversation focuses on Faison Brandon versus George McIntyre, but another true freshman that we'll all be keeping an eye on, maybe more hate watching than anything, would be Jared Curtis, and what he apparently is the guy. He's been anointed at Vanderbilt. I'm just thinking, Haji, and from your perspective, from a wagering point of view too, it feels like this is a team. Last year might have been as high a cotton as they're going to get. Now, Clark Lee's done a really good job there, but boy, they lost a lot from that team.
Yeah, they lost a lot. He's Curtis, the number 2 quarterback in the class. He's their only option, basically. He's just too talented not to go out there and lead their team. He showed glimpses, I guess, in the spring game, 88 yards and 2 scoring drives. But they've got 3 new starters on the offensive line that may be good, actually, as transfers. A couple of new receivers, but they didn't recruit any other quarterback or get one in the portal, so they're all in on Curtis. Last in returning production for Vanderbilt in the SEC. So I think 6-6 in a bowl is doable. I don't expect them to certainly go anywhere near where they were last year. But their win total is 5.5. The over's -142. I think they'll get to 6.
Haji, we've got people in the chat begging for picks. It's been a long, hot summer. Gas prices are high, Haji. People, their budgets are stretched thin right now. They want the Sheik to make them some money. What you got anybody like in the College World Series, NBA Finals, anything like that?
Of course, we're going to hate watch Georgia. It's a shame that the 2 best teams are playing each other, I guess, in the first game. But the good news is one of them's going to lose. But I don't have a pick. The SEC is on one side of the bracket, basically.
Yeah.
And the other 3 favorites, Carolina. Who's it? Carolina. We got Troy. Who's
West
the third
Virginia
non-SEC team? Yeah, West Virginia. Yeah.
We've adopted the Mountaineers as our team here on the drive.
Yes. I'm all for that. I'm not probably going to bet it. I might look at individual games.
Which begs the question: if they don't win, do we have to burn a couch? We've got a couple out here in the. You think boss would mind if we set one of those ablaze in the parking lot?
Might not be a great look, but
go get one somewhere.
We're going to do this. We got to do this. I mean, let's do it right.
I think it's, as far as football goes, regarding Texas Tech, obviously they don't call it the Wild West for nothing, and it's probably a good thing the NCAA wasn't in charge of the Wild West back in the 1800s. But if they can't keep him from playing, which that doesn't sound like they can, the judge has made his ruling, so it's really out of even Texas Tech's hands at this point. But they're high on Will Hammond. He led Tech to a big comeback, not necessarily a comeback, but pull away in the 3rd and 4th quarters against Utah after Baron Morton went out. He filled in okay. But with Sorsby, it's no comparison. They are -300, I believe, to make the playoff. They're -130, I believe, to win the conference. And BYU's 7-1. So even without him, they're so loaded. They've got 6 all-conference defensive players, and I expect their defense to lead them again as well. But I don't know. I don't really like the people saying they're going to boycott the games. What does that? I mean, that's just you just acting scared if you do that. I think if you're mad about it, use that anger as motivation. Go out there and do everything you can to win games against them. But I just think Tech's a lock, basically, to make the playoff. So, and I would love to see Texas and Texas Tech meet in the playoff. I think that would be one of the best games of the year after, what's been all the talk going on preseason.
I just hope it doesn't send a message to other players who have grown up being told, hey, you cannot gamble on on sports if you're going to be a player, and you certainly can't gamble on your own team, that's obviously not true, because this guy did it and he got to play and lead to more point shaving scandals.
Yeah, no doubt it's a horrible decision, and any player that gets caught in the future gambling, they're going to say they're addicts, and they just need to sit out a couple games and get over it, and they'll be fine. It just doesn't work that way. Gambling can ruin people's lives and families. So I always say gamble responsibly if you can afford to do it. Keep the money. That's all good.
Apparently Trey just tweeted out something. I don't know if Trey contacted, I'll have to go back and look at the tweet, but basically somebody contacted the Indiana Gaming Commission, and there's still an ongoing investigation into wagering in Indiana. So
I'd be more nervous if I was a Tech fan actually with him at quarterback. He's already gambled $90,000, right? And now he's got a bigger bankroll. I'm sure he can find a proxy to place bets for him.
Sure.
So I wouldn't rule out that he's still gambling, but if he gets hooked for a couple $100,000, and somebody comes at him, or he doesn't even need anybody to come at him like these basketball guys do and everything. If he just
those guys did it for like $2,000 split between 4 guys.
Yeah, right. So this guy, if he's trying, he would be in charge of his own get back, to get well off his losses, and I'd be worried about him throwing a pick six at the wrong time if I was a Tech fan, but it's a terrible precedent, not a good ruling, obviously. But if I'm a Texas Tech fan, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, as Dale Earnhardt said. I believe Baylor might know that. I don't. Of course, they're going to start him as much as they can, and I don't know how many teams wouldn't if they had him versus their situation. If it's a vast chasm between the first string and the second string quarterback, a lot of teams would play him, certainly.
All right. Well,
I'm glad we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I hope we never do, man. That is an absolute debacle. What's going on down in Lubbock right now? Haji, for the listener who might not be on Twitter or can't go find the thing, where is this Substack? Where can people find it?
It's Coverboy Johnny on Substack, and Desert Dog Wins elsewhere. I changed my handle yesterday on Twitter or X to Desert Dog Wins.
Oh, did you?
To have a little more uniformity across lines. Yeah. So
Desert Dog.
You can find me.
Okay, I like it because he's Desert Dog. He's in the desert and he wins because he picks winners.
He does win.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. All right, Haji. Hey, man, before you know it, we'll be talking with the Cover Boys and picking winners and getting on the right side of things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have certainly some preseason win totals plays coming out pretty soon. And we've still got a long way to go, but I'm so excited about doing this research this year. I expect big things from the Cover Boys this year, and looking forward to every minute of it.
Yes, sir. All right, Sheik, we will talk again soon. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, boys.
Thank you,
Have a
Haji.
great day. See ya.
Haji, the myth of the true freshman quarterback. He broke it down, man.
He did some work there.
Yes.
There was no doubt. It was a good read.
No, not a rectally derived column right there. He did his research.
We do our research. Have you done your research?
I'm trying to confirm whether or not this is legit. Magic Mike sent this to me. It's just the graphic. But, college football coaches are having their youth camps right now. This is camp season.
Yeah.
So how a lot of assistant coaches, particularly at smaller programs, make
Extra
supplemental
money,
income. Yeah. Largest attendance in Butch Jones youth camp history.
It's critical.
That is the graphic released, I believe, by Arkansas State today. Hang the damn banner, Butch. Largest attendance in Butch Jones youth camp history. That is,
if it was anybody
incredible.
Other than that guy, I would swear it was AI Russ, but that is totally on brand.
How many of those kids
is ass?
How many of those kids you think Bear that maybe they got them fitted for girdles?
I don't know about the kids. I guarantee he's got an industrial strength one strapped on right now with some 2-inch lifts. In those
you think they're busting in kids from neighboring communities just to try and beat the record? I don't want to go to football camp. You're on the bus. Get over there, kid. We're breaking a record.
Butch Jones is ass.
Those are guys from 90. I'll listen to those guys quite a bit now. They've got a good show, 97.1.
Saugatuck.
Out of Detroit.
Quick timeout. Oh, I bet they're melting down over the Tigers kind of suck this year, don't they?
Yeah, no, they're more. It's they called out Michigan and the NCAA, but the Sorsby. It's like everybody doing what we do. I mean, Sorsby's whole situation is comical.
We'll take a quick timeout, open up the phone lines to you, 865-966-3435, your phone number to get on the drive, 966-3435. More Fan Run Radio coming up.
The Drive.
Tony Basilio, the official voice of the
afternoon edition of the show, The Sheik. Bear, what did you learn?
Number one, he put a lot of damn thought into that. I did find it. I guess I wasn't surprised that there've been so many in the past 10 years. You saw that uptick, and I think you've seen that in the NFL where there's a lot of pressure on these teams, Russ, for rookie quarterbacks to start. Fans aren't patient anymore, bud.
No, back in the day,
want to see the Ferraris.
When they threw Peyton to the Wolves in '98, the Colts, and they went 3-13. Like, that was pretty rare. I mean, I remember back in the early 80s, 90s, you drafted a rookie quarterback. Most of the time, you wanted to have a veteran in there and let him learn the ropes, like see how a vet goes about preparing for games week in, week out, adjust to the speed of the game, all that stuff. Nowadays, you're drafted in the first round. You are the starter.
I mean, we're kind of seeing variations of this in a lot of sports, right? I mean, we're seeing it in Major League Baseball. Like, how many guys are now going almost immediately, they might get just a handful of games under their belt at the minor league level, and they're playing at the majors level. So
you see, you get a Nate Ament. And obviously, he was he wasn't necessarily our best player at the very start of the year. I mean, he was by the end.
Yeah.
But you get a guy like that, you got to play him.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, because you only have him for, in basketball 1 year. In baseball, you get him for, for 3 if they don't, if you can retain them for 3 years and not lose them to the portal.
I just think the immediacy of it all, like I said, what we're talking about in the college level, we're seeing it translate into the pro level. I just everything, patience is no longer a thing. Everything's about that year.
Has it made our pro sports, especially basketball is the one that really jumps out at me. I don't think the NBA is as good because these kids aren't staying in college long enough.
Jerry West said that a long time ago. I mean, I remember this quote from like 20, 25 years ago. He said, the NBA used to be a polished league. You come into the league, and if you don't know how to play, you don't play.
Yeah.
And now it's become a teaching league.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the teams that are competing for the championship are pretty polished, obviously. But there are teams that just aren't competing and don't have any intention to compete. And it's just like, okay, we're getting our young guys reps. We'll let them learn how to play professional basketball on the job. And that's just something that did not occur back in the day.
Not happening in college.
If there's a silver lining from NIL, because all we talk about is all the bad aspects of it, is I think specifically in college basketball, because for a moment, just what you were saying, what's going on with the NBA and then players leaving college so quickly, one and done, what have you, both sports suffered as a result of it. Well, now I think college basketball, it feels like in some ways what's on the court has not been better in a long, long time. And it's because a lot of these guys are staying now. Now, last year's freshman class was special, but a lot of it was guys like Yaxel Lendeborg who decided, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay another year because the money's good. So that's a good thing.
We got any big names staying this year
for basketball?
Yeah, that jump out at you.
Thomas
Harris.
Yeah. Thomas Houck at Florida. That to me is the no-brainer. I mean, he was probably a borderline lottery pick, and he was like, I want to stay for another year. I want to win. I want to win.
Do you think is it a detriment? Heupel definitely seems like, at least what he's saying publicly, this is a two-man race between George and Faison. It's going to go into fall camp. I'm in no hurry to name a starter. Do you kind of think he'd be better off naming a starter, or at least identifying one privately and putting all his eggs in one basket, so to speak, and really coaching that one guy up? Are we wasting a little bit of time if we're not going to play two?
Oh, I think it's interesting. Say what you want. We've been having a lot of fun at the expense of Vanderbilt, but I think Clark Lee saying we're going with this guy, I think that's the right move. And it's probably because he doesn't have another one that's as good. I get that. But no, I think I've been thinking about that too, Russell. I think that there's definitely some value in doing it, but what do we know?
I think he's worried that he'd hit the portal.
Oh, McIntyre? He can't, though.
Yeah, but he could just decline to play this year for Tennessee, and then we'd have Faison and the kid from Staub from Colorado.
Does this get back to what Haji said about living in your hopes and not your fears? Like, let's go and win. And again, the risk of repeating myself, I'm not interested in being told we're young at quarterback this year.
No.
It didn't have to be that way. There were plenty of options in the portal that were more experienced that we chose not to pursue. So I'm not going to have any patience for that. Just warning you. Stay with us. Hour number 2 of The Drive coming up. It's Fan Run Radio. Back with more after this.
Drive.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning.
Hour number 2 of the drive underway here on Fan Run Radio, and time for your top 4 at 4. It's brought to you this afternoon by our friends at Knoxville Smiles. We start with more on the Texas Tech saga. Well, schools, conference, going to tell Texas Tech they're not going to play them or they won't allow them to be in the conference championship game.
Yep.
Texas Tech ready to go to battle, according to a report today from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, as representatives of Tech have notified conference officials that any Big 12 sanction would be met with another courtroom challenge. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Techster or the Red Raider as their official mascot. Can we just get the lawyers?
Lawyer chasing an ambulance.
The fighting litigators.
There you go.
I don't know how
the legal
all that,
Eagles.
All that stuff would work, but I'd be careful if I were there. You buy your way into getting voted out of the conference.
School representatives, according to Dellinger, are actively exploring potential legal action, not only against the league itself, but against individual conference universities whose officials claim they would not play the Red Raiders. One person familiar with the situation quoted as saying, "If you want to go to battle with Texas Tech, get ready. We're going to battle."
You want to go to war, Frank? Let's go full Scarface.
I mean, it's gross, man.
Did you see, I don't have it in front of me now, but the communication that came out from the athletic director at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean, they've dropped any pretense of.
I mean, it was a big word salad, a lot of like, we're doing what's in the best interest of the student athlete. And it's like, oh, come on, man.
But he was also, somebody, I think it was him, said something to the effect of, these schools just don't want to play us because they know that we could, with Sorsby, they're inherently better or something. It's like
this. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the gambling stuff. We're just afraid of Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, not to mention that the kid's still under investigation for whatever he did in Indiana, whatever happened there.
I mean, you can't tell me if this was happening at the other UT, at the University of Texas, that Texas Tech AD would feel the same way. He would be livid, apoplectic.
Absolutely.
And this Chad guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's disgusting.
Who?
Chad Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh,
he should not have anything to do.
It's Cody Campbell.
Cody Campbell.
Yeah.
He looks like a Chad to me. You know what I mean?
Golfer, Chad Campbell.
Who was the super booster in Friday Night Lights? Buddy.
Oh, he owned the auto
car dealership.
Store,
yeah.
Buddy.
This guy makes that guy look like a damn softy.
You want to know the truth? It was that character that turned me off from the show. That guy.
Why?
I don't know. There was just something about it. I just didn't like watching it. It was just so cringy.
He's a great character. Number 2. Nate Ament has received an invitation to the green room for the NBA draft. Tennessee basketball one-and-done guard is one of the first 14 players to be invited to the NBA draft, which starts on June 23rd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
I was watching Field of 68. Again, they're probably in the process of a name change. They did a mock draft last night on a live stream, and I wish I hadn't watched it. After all this Nate Ament conflation and love, and
where'd the ever boy go?
17th.
Go
to Oklahoma City. What they were saying was that would be the steal of the draft for Oklahoma City, which I would tend to agree. But man, I hope when I hear he gets invited to the green room, he's one of 14 players. God, I hope he gets in those top 14.
Did I see a speculated trade that had the Dalton Knecht going to your Pacers?
I haven't seen that. Interesting, though.
I mean, Bob didn't come in here with a 3 mile wide smile. I don't know. Would that make you happy?
No, not necessarily. He's got to go earn it back now somewhere,
Turning on DK?
No. I'm just saying.
DK3, huh, Bob?
Your Pacers too good for our beloved Dalton Knecht?
He's got to go somewhere else and pay his dues.
They were the NBA finalists last season.
Where were they this year?
Well, they were hurt. Their best player was out for the year.
Injury excuses.
It's like they could use a deadly 3-point shooter.
Okay, Pot. Mr. Atlanta Braves, last year was just an outlier. We're awesome.
I mean, we had a lot of injuries. It wasn't just one guy. What can I say?
So the Pacers, they had a bunch of injuries.
Let's move along. Number 3, NBA Finals continue tonight in New York City. The Spurs and Knicks. Knicks lead that series 2 games to 1. Chance for the Spurs to even it up. I'm all in on the Spurs now. The way the Knicks fans have acted in Manhattan, absolutely disgraceful. It's an outrage. And I hope that you see the video today of that poor, Indian-looking gentleman he's just there trying to see his team. He's got a Spurs jersey on, literally trying to rip the jersey off of his body. This guy looks terrified.
Let go of your pearls, Grandma. Clutching him so tight over there.
I'm sorry. Bears favor of mob justice out here. Just randomly accosting opposing fans, tearing jerseys that probably cost well over $100 off their shoulders, and in some cases physically assaulting them. I mean, that might be fine where you come from in Mother Russia, but here in the United States of America, a man has a right to walk down the street in Manhattan unmolested.
I mean, it's just happened. It happens in New York. It happens in Philly. Head on a swivel is what I tell the Asian man. Head on a swivel.
What?
Indian.
Just deal with it.
I wouldn't go anywhere near Madison Square Garden tonight. Those people are crazy. Have some self-awareness, some self-preservation skills, my guy.
The de-evolution of American society. Just complete animals. Complete animals in that city. It's an outrage.
So you're on Team Spurs?
All Spurs all the way. I hope they kick the crap out of New York, and I hope those animals burn their own arena down to the ground. They don't deserve a palace like that.
I mean, the only reason Bob's rooting for the Spurs is because he hates the Knicks. Because of Indiana.
No, I mean, Spurs are a fun team to watch.
It's fun watching Wemby knock the crap out of people and not get called for it.
That was awesome.
Number 4, Major League Baseball games happening today. Already a couple of finals. Yankees win, Red Sox lose. Bears happy.
Nice.
Yankees win 8-4 in Cleveland, and the Rays beat the Red Sox 7-5 at the Trop. Just underway in San Fran, Tony Vitello and the boys hosting the Washington Nationals. Game scoreless in the second inning there.
Are the Rays the one team that has done the most that nobody really cares about?
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of like –
or had the most success?
I mean, they're kind of like the A's were in the early 2000s where they're just doing more with less. Not a big budget, but consistently competitive.
The Brewers are kind of the National League version of that now, too, playing that.
And I always feel like the Marlins, like every 5 years or so, that guy, whoever owns them, will go out and buy a bunch of players, and they'll go on a big run, and then they'll just completely, sell it off for parts and start over.
Speaking of Braves injuries, Ronald Acuna goes on the 10-day DL after he re-aggravates the same hamstring he hurt earlier in the season.
To the chop.
Still got the best record. I mean, we're getting Drake Baldwin back this weekend. Like, this train don't slow down. I'm more like, Bob, would you give, if you're Atlanta, would you give Ronald Acuna the big, $300+ million, $30 million a year contract going forward with the injury problems that he's had?
That's a tough one, man. I love Acuna, by the way. I think he's great, but that's a lot of money, and
I'm really torn on it too. I don't know.
He's like, he really is really injury prone, right?
Yeah.
2 ACLs, multiple hammies, just the season alone. I don't know, man. I keep saying, like, when he come back, I'm like, okay, like if he makes it through the year and is productive and everything, then like do it. But I don't think he's going to make it through the year.
As soon as he signs that $300 million contract, both knees are blowing out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you worry about. All right. That is the top 4 at 4, brought to you by Knoxville Smiles. Check them out online, knoxvillesmiles.com. 865-539-1776. Tell them you heard us talking about it here on Fan Run Radio. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles. Open lines here if you want to jump in. 865-966-3435 is your number to get on the show. 966-3435. Russell, Bob, and Bear with you on a Wednesday afternoon edition of the show. Our pal Jake Crane going to stop by in hour number 3 to talk all things college football, and I'm sure he'll be especially wound up this afternoon. Should be a fun conversation with Jake. What did you say, Abernathy, the schools were that he's looking at?
Somebody on the live chat put it in. They said Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Georgia.
So 3 World Series teams.
3 World Series teams.
I saw
Oklahoma seems like an interesting match to me because we talked about this when we previewed the Vols in Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. They're kind of maybe a rich man's Kentucky.
Small ball.
Yeah, they kind of play that game.
He fits. That's what he would fit best at.
I think we're all excited about some new car smell here. Ooh, new players. Look at those numbers that he put up at Kent State last year, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we talked about Marin. You know, he's looking at Miami and Texas, like 2 great baseball powers. And then Abernathy is looking at 3 College World Series teams. Do you wonder if we'd be better off if like we had just locked those 2 down and been like, okay, well, we've got our center fielder, we've got our shortstop?
It's a fair question. I had moved on with Abernathy, and you know how big a fan I was of him. But
tantalizing skills, man.
But it hadn't really conveyed. So I was okay with that one. Marin, though, that one, I guess maybe because we sat here with Ben McKee a week ago today. That's how quickly things move.
Yeah.
And Ben was saying, I'm of the belief that Manny Marin's staying based on what I've heard from his team. That got me fired up. So that one hurts more. So yeah, I think it's a fair question to ask. At least maybe one of those guys, because you're right, they're all dancing with some pretty big time programs.
You know me, I'm just a big believer in a second year jump. Whether you're a sophomore or junior, like this, your first year playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Abernathy did not play much as a freshman, and I'm just wondering if he could have. I mean, obviously, a couple of really good programs think that he can make a jump and are enamored with the same skills we were, and same thing with Manny Marin. So, hopefully, we can get better players.
I really did think, back to Abernathy, I thought this was going to be just one of those years, like you said, the second year jump, and it just didn't quite happen. We saw a couple things last season that got me very excited about the kid, but didn't play out that way.
No.
Good luck to him, as long as he's not going to Kentucky or one of our truly hated rivals.
So, Bob, I wanted to get into this. We've finally got some time here. Let's chat about it. Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big week in the sports media universe with the news that Clay Travis is leaving Outkick, a company he founded. And, you know, regardless of what you think about them, has certainly become a player in the national media, sports media landscape. And Pat McAfee, who, I mean, he's everywhere right now. Some will say he's overexposed. That's a guy that people either love or they hate, right? There's not a lot of in between. Take him or leave him with Pat McAfee. Obviously, he's doing something right, because ESPN is reportedly in negotiations with McAfee on a new deal worth between $60 and $65 million per year.
Yep.
Per year. 60. We're talking about giving Acuna $30 million per year.
Yeah.
60 and $65 million. Bob, you're the TV expert. Help me wrap my feeble mind around this. I just don't understand how any TV personality is worth $60 million a year. How do they make that money back based just off Pat McAfee's huge personality?
Nah, I don't know if they do, but it's also some of this, I think, is ESPN playing defense, because McAfee, if they don't, here's the deal. There's a lot of chatter. If you've noticed, Netflix is getting more and more involved. They were getting more and more involved in some big time live sport events, like some NFL games, things like that.
Which is weird, but okay.
Yeah. Well, when they do it, it's fantastic. Honestly, I think all they do is they sub it out to like some of the network teams to produce it and everything, but it looks great. But they also now are doing a lot of what we watch on YouTube now, where they take big time podcast enterprises like The Ringer and some of these others, and they're putting the video versions of those podcasts on Netflix. I have no doubt in my mind, because Netflix has been notorious overspenders, that if ESPN lets McAfee walk away, he ends up over at like a Netflix or something like that. So, and he has helped kind of resuscitate College Game Day. The numbers don't lie. Those have gone up as well. His daily show hasn't performed quite as well as I think ESPN would have thought it would. But yeah, the money is absolutely crazy. And as a matter of fact, McAfee's team went in with a starting dollar figure that they were asking for of $100 million a year. I mean, I'm sure they didn't expect to get that, but I'm guessing they would have liked more.
Well, to put it in perspective, Stephen A. Smith reportedly nets about $20 million a year from ESPN. Yeah. The Monday Night Football team, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, earned $15 and $17.5 million per year, respectively. So Aikman a little bit more. So I mean, they're talking about 3 times as much for Pat McAfee. That just boggles the mind that any sports media personality could be worth that much money.
I never thought I'd see somebody exceed what Tom Brady's getting, $37.5 million a year for doing NFL football for Fox. I mean, I thought that was ludicrous.
Is that more than he ever did? What was his highest salary as a player? Did he get up to? I know quarterbacks are at 50 now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, he signed a 10-year deal for $375 million. The thing that's real is, I believe there's a couple of things here. McAfee is definitely oversaturated. I was talking to you about this the other night when I was flipping around on channels for the NBA Finals game. ESPN had an alternate telecast, I guess, on ESPN2, and the guy doing the play-by-play on the alternate telecast was Pat McAfee. And it's like, that is not something I'm interested in watching.
You don't want to hear what a punter has to say about the NBA
man.
Finals?
It was him and no, let's pile on. It was him and Kendrick Perkins, who, that's Ambien level stuff for me. I just think they're putting him everywhere, and I think that's a mistake. And what it's doing, it's driving a lot of people away, saying, I don't even care about ESPN anymore except for the events. That's it. Nothing else.
I've been that way for years.
Yeah.
For years. Like I don't think I've ever watched First Take. I've never watched Skip Bayless, whatever, his show is on Fox.
You don't embrace debate?
I'm typically doing stuff but I'm not at home watching TV. And I've got my own opinions about these. I don't care what these guys think about sports, but that is a far cry from, I've seen some of these videos of Rich Eisen, like interviewing Dan Patrick about the glory days of SportsCenter. And I did care back then. I remember watching in the 90s, and 90s kids will remember, like, if you had that, you would watch SportsCenter at home while you're eating your breakfast. And then if you had that cool teacher that let you watch TV at school, like, because they would just replay the same episode. They would tape SportsCenter like 7 or 8 in the morning and then replay that 3 or 4 times in a row until 11 or noon. And there were times when you would watch the same episode of SportsCenter like 3 times in a day and be entertained each time by it. And I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. I don't find any personalities particularly entertaining anymore when it comes to that sort of thing. But I do want to dovetail this off into a broader conversation. We'll get to some phone calls when we continue. Who are your favorite sports media personalities, if you have one? There are some guys out there that I like. It's not just Russell sitting up on the porch crapping all over everything. I've got a couple that I like, and I'm sure you guys do too. We'll share that. If you want to chime in, 865-966-3435. We'll make it today's hot question. Who are your favorite sports media personalities to follow? 865-966-3435, your phone number to get on the drive this afternoon. We got to take a quick timeout. We'll come right back with your phone calls after this.
The Drive.
East Tennessee Sports Authority. This is Fan Run Radio. Knock
I take it you're not a McAfee guy?
No, I have a lot of admiration for what McAfee did, and I loved what he was doing just a couple of years ago. He's too saturated now, and he's also become thin-skinned over time, too. I mean, it's been well chronicled, the fights he's picked with, ESPN. He's gotten people fired at ESPN.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norby Williamson, who was a long-time programming exec there.
I don't care about that. I thought you were saying like as some, low-level production staffer.
No, but it's somebody who, it's their livelihood and has been for a long time. And and I've seen this happen so many times. It's like, man, this much fame, this much money, it changes you. It just does. And that's what's happened with him. So no,
I'd like to get changed.
I'm a big fan of what he did. He came out and started that thing on his own and built it into something. And he is talented, and I think he's pretty funny. I just see way too much of him. That's where I leave it. For me, the guy in the current state, the only guy that I'm a huge fan of, I like Van Pelt, man. I think Scott's great. I've just always been a fan of SPP.
He seems cool. I like his sense of humor. I'm never up that late. I never watch that Sports Center, so I don't know.
Yeah. And then as far as I could go on and on, there are a ton of great announcers out there. There really are. And newer generation guys. I mean, one of the biggest stars, and it's such a wild story. Have you read the story about Jason Benetti, who does baseball and basketball play-by-play?
He's got some sort of thing happening,
cerebral
right?
palsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he works around it, and he is fantastic, man. He's so good.
Can I share a quick story? Just shameful, disgraceful Russell story.
That's what's new, but go.
Years ago, before I had any idea who he was, like he was doing a Tennessee football game. It was like some small time game that we were in, and they were doing the announcer stand up where they're on camera before the game, and he's got cerebral palsy. I didn't know that at the time. So I tweeted something about I can't remember what I said. Like, why is this Hobbit talking to me at the Tennessee game?
The hell?
I didn't know. And CG immediately texted me because he was the White Sox guy. And he's like, Russell, like that guy's got cerebral. He's got CP. Like he's a great announcer and everything. He's overcome a lot. I felt 2 inches tall. I should have known personal appearance. This is why personal appearance is not show fodder.
He is the guy doing.
There's a reason for this.
He does Sunday Night Baseball for NBC.
He's great.
Now, and he's also the play-by-play guy during the bulk of the regular season for the Detroit Tigers. He's their home.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great. He's a good dude. He's also got a great sense of humor. And but there's so many good announcers out there these days. I mean, it's crazy.
You split it all up. My favorite announcer is Olsen. Greg, but I mean, as far as who Bob was type, probably Eisen for me.
He's good. He's
really good. And then, but for like the podcast level, like those guys, like what I would consider McAfee's level, I like a lot of the conversations that Steven Jackson and God, why can I never remember his name?
Matt Barnes,
all the smoke.
Those former player podcast, Busting with the Boys,
Julian Edelman. It's
even the Kelseys.
But it's neck and neck. Julian Edelman's really, really good.
Yeah, he is.
But between Julian and then Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes are probably my two favorite shows that I watch a lot.
Doing a hot question here this afternoon. If you want to chime in, favorite sports media personalities going 865-966-3435. Let's get a call from Daniel. Good afternoon, Daniel. You're on the drive. It's Fan Run Radio.
Russell Bear and the crew. Can you all please help me, Bob as well? Can you all please help me make sense of this Sorsby stuff? I understand the judge, and maybe you all can. It's really racked my brain how the man in Cincinnati, the Hit King, is out of he's deceased and is not eligible for the Hall of Fame for the same reason that a judge in Texas thinks that Sorsby's eligible to play a season for. I just can't wrap my head around it.
If I can, I would tell you, because I've thought about it too, Daniel, and I'm not a Pete Rose fan, but it defies logic now that you look back at what he did versus what's going on now. I think it's a difference in eras. You know, everything now is so, I don't want to use the term sophisticated, but there seems to be so many different angles and ways out of, you know, penalty, so to speak. And I think if the Pete Rose thing had come up in this era, it wouldn't even, it'd be a non-starter. It wouldn't
really.
Yeah. I think it would not be an issue. I just don't. I'm not saying that they would let him continue to play, but certainly would have been eligible for the Hall of Fame, all that stuff.
Gambling was such a different, I mean, it was frowned upon. It was something that was done in the shadows. And
right.
I remember growing up listening to sports radio, like a guy would, the announcer would always say, for entertainment purposes only, nod, nod, wink, wink. And now we just openly Vols by 6.5 tonight. What do you think here? We just
the other weird part is you'll be watching ESPN where they're breaking down the Sorsby stuff, giving
while the lines are going scrolling.
Well, the lines are scrolling on the bottom.
Well, and then I'm dating myself a little bit, but do you remember to your point about it being taboo, remember the parlay sheets?
Oh yeah,
where you would do them, and it'd be in a bar with buddies. Somebody would have a hookup, they'd get them to you, you'd fill them out, hand them back over to somebody who was a bookie, basically.
Kind of miss those days.
Yeah. I got 9 out of 10 on one of those one time. I thought I was going to hit it big.
So that back then it just felt like you were.
We had an actual bookie in college, a guy that like you call, hey, give me 6 Bearcat 6.5 tonight. Like that's how it was done. There was a guy who just ran books.
Well, there used to be a bar right over there. It's where Whole Foods is, kind of near Sequoia Hills. And there was a bar, but you just go up to the bar and they get your little strip, and you know, had the odds at the bottom. And you picked 10. It was 100 to 1.
It's odds. All the touch of your fingertips now. Thanks, DraftKings.
Well, if Pete Rose is too far removed, what about the Alabama head coach from 2 years ago?
Oh, the baseball coach. That's good. Yeah.
I mean, that guy's he's persona non grata.
I don't even remember. What was that guy's name?
I don't know. But I'm that guy was that guy was actively and
I just saw a post on this guy, Rob Vaughn. Is that right?
Well, he's the coach now. No, he's the coach now.
Whoever it was is, I think, the prior coach is now like selling insurance or doing something like that.
Brad Bohannon.
Yeah,
he's got a 15-year NCAA show cause.
He's somebody posted just a day or two ago his LinkedIn profile, like a frame grab of it, saying this is what he's doing now.
I think Dixon and Tony, I don't know if it was Tony B or Matt. One of those guys went back and watched a bunch of those games right before he got caught. And
like the scene in Blue Chips, or look there, right there, he could have gotten that ball. What he had put $100,000 on a game. He had a guy like placing the bet at the BetMGM book at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
While he was on the phone, right? Wasn't that the story?
Yes.
Which is a whole other underlying story, that Sorsby played at Cincinnati, the Hit King played at Cincinnati, and that guy from Alabama made all the. I mean,
it all happens in Cincy.
Is something, you know, and my question to all of it is, if he loses his job and has a 15-year show cause, if the Hit King is never allowed back in the Hall of Fame and is deceased, but Sorsby can play, where is the line that's too far?
Well, I mean, this should be it. No lines this anymore. Used to be it. Yeah, I mean, that's why this is such a big story, is because this used to be the point of no return, and now Texas Tech is evidently going to try to litigate their way through this scenario. By the way, I'll take the Cincinnati thing one step further. Who did the 1919 Black Sox throw the series against?
Oh, the Reds.
Cincinnati Reds. All the major gambling stories
involve Walker's
sports. Yeah, Cincinnati centric.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's rotten to the core.
On the way out, a couple guys that I've always been a favorite of. I've always been a favorite of Cowherd, just for as a radio personality. But I've always enjoyed Kevin Harlan's calls on the TNT broadcast. Rest in peace and peace. Y'all have a good day and go Vols.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I got a couple of texts about Kevin Harlan.
Yeah. I figured yours was going to be Rome, Russ.
Yeah, well,
clones.
Yeah, I mean, he was certainly influential growing up back in the day. Tony
he got
Bruno
caught smoking the Mexican Marlboros.
When I first listened, I was living on the West Coast. When I first heard him, he was only in San Diego at that point at Extra.
XRT.
Yeah, and he's one kind of drew my interest in this stuff, man.
The first time I really remember him is when Everett about pile drived him on that set.
See, I don't remember. That happened before I discovered him. I discovered him, I want to say, the station Tony and I were working on started playing that show, noon to 3.
Yeah.
I was a listener.
That would have been like 99, 2000, somewhere around there. In his prime, in Romy's prime.
He had so many great, like hippie lettuce, left hand. I mean, he had all these nicknames for stuff when guys would get in trouble for, hitting the ganja.
I always remember Nick Van Exel. He called him Nick Van Smack, and also Nick Van Exel, Gangsta Hoopa is what he also called him.
The pimp in the box.
Yes. Yep.
865-966-3435. I know this one is this guy in a lot of people's eyes peaked, and it's fashionable to hate on him now. Actually, it's always been fashionable to hate on him since his playing days. I love Tony Romo. I love Romo, man. Like, I just think I love how sloppy he is. He sounds like he's unprepared. I don't know. Maybe he is, but I can watch him do any game. I mean, him and Nance, I think that's, for my money, the best team out there right now. I'd watch them over Buck and Aikman any day of the week, any day.
I kind of like Aikman.
On Monday Night Football these days, do you watch the Manning cast or do you watch Buck and Aikman?
Manning cast.
Yeah, I do too.
It depends. I mix it up a little bit. I can't watch the entire game on the Manning cast, but maybe 30 minutes, an hour, something like that.
Another thing, and this is going to be me nerding out and getting a little bit too much into the presentation of it all, but NBC coming back with Major League Baseball and the NBA, it to me just reinforces how good they are in the product they deliver. I think they have the best looking games like on TV, whether it's Sunday Night Football. I mean, I just think they look
pretty good. I like the way Prime looks right now.
Well, Prime's good because they don't run it through. You're getting it direct right off of their.
I know you explain it to them.
Yeah, but they do a nice job too. But I mean, I just think NBC. It just reminds me how good they've always been at it, and they didn't skip a beat when they got back into baseball and the NBA. I
mean, Apple and Prime are both killing it with. Auto racing right now because it looks so much better.
What about Mike Tirico? Do you guys like him? Or
I didn't like him at first. There were some really ugly stories about him at ESPN, just as far as like not being a good guy off the air.
Yeah,
but he's grown on me.
He's very good.
Very good. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough not to appreciate how good he is. I'm not necessarily a fan, but I also respect what he does.
I saw a thing about him. I can't remember where this was, but it was recently. But he was talking about his process, and he says he watches every broadcast that he does, whether football game, basketball game, Olympics, or whatever. Like as soon as it's done, when he's flying home, I don't know where he lives.
He watches it.
He watches and listens to himself to critique himself.
Yeah,
which seems like a pretty simple thing, but.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you get better.
Another story maybe for another time. We got a long summer ahead, but I have because it would take a while to talk through it. I have a story. I worked with Mike Breen, who's calling the NBA Finals. Yeah. One night. I worked with Mike Breen one night.
We'll definitely have to hear that.
And
story.
It was before he was the Mike Breen we know now. And
I'll tell you, there's a
wonderful
Did he say
guy.
bang?
No, but he was a wonderful guy, total pro, man.
There's a giant, and I'm surprised none of the three of us have named yet. What about Costas?
Bob, really good. I just felt like he turned into too much of a overly cerebral guy.
It's all a little condescending at times.
Yes, very talented. He used to way back when Letterman. When Letterman was still at NBC, he would come on Letterman's show and do some bits, and he was hilarious. He was very good, but.
He's one of those guys that you always he's kind of like Mike Keith in that he just seems to know everything about everything. Like I was watching, because he's on the Peacock broadcast now of like Sunday Night Baseball, not as a play-by-play guy, but he's like an on-the-field host. And so I was watching, I think Sunday night it was the
Cubs and Giants, right?
Yeah, it was the Cubs and Giants. And so they're coming in, and like Costas is there in the left field, wherever their desk is. And they're coming back. It's the 7th inning. And he's like, as Ramirez, like he's telling a story coming back in from break about something else.
Yeah.
But he knows exactly what's happening, exactly who's at bat, what they've, like, he's just in total command, man. He's a pro.
He's a machine. Al Michaels.
Somebody mentioned him on the live chat, and I think Michael's body of work is fantastic.
Needs to hang it up.
Yep. He's gotten, his calls are lazy.
Yeah, dude, you're doing Thursday night football. This is the NFL, and you sound bored. Let somebody else get in there, you know?
Kid Huddy mentioned Vern Lundquist on the Masters, and Uncle Vern was fabulous, man.
Sure.
Yeah, that was another one. Loved him.
How do you like that? Yeah.
What's
Vern's
your favorite Vern call? Non-Tennessee.
Oh,
wasn't it? He did "Are You Kidding Me" on something, but I forget.
It's Tiger Woods shot.
No,
16, wasn't it?
No, the Tiger Woods at 16 was.
Have you ever in your life
Yeah.
seen anything like that?
Yeah.
I'm just assuming "Are You Kidding Me" was something Tiger related. I want to say maybe it's not. Juwan Jennings may be one of his greatest ones.
That was good.
Juwan Jennings.
Quick timeout. You're listening to The Drive on Fan Run Radio, 865-966-3435 if you want to chime in, 966-3435. Back with more right after this.
The Drive.
Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with
of the show. Russell, Bob, and Bear back with you, talking about our favorite sports announcers. I love these conversations because they bring up names from the past. Somebody on Twitter, let me figure out who this was. Shout out Russell Mays.
The Russell
listening
Mays?
to the show, the voice of the Fulton Falcons this afternoon.
One of my favorite.
A sports media name from the past, Van Earl Wright.
Wow.
Ruined it. Like, man, this is just the 90s were a great time. Remember Fred Hickman?
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, that's right. He passed away. The CNN.
Oh, Sports Tonight was.
Yes, the great highlights on CNN. Like people now, you're like CNN. Yes, CNN had a killer sports highlight show.
CNN. Okay, Hickman,
sports,
Nick
weather.
Charles, both no longer with us. Olbermann, who's a freak show but was talented.
He was on CNN.
You ever met him, Bob?
I don't remember that.
Oh,
but I do know someone who was his producer in LA and was also his driver because he does not drive.
is he really nuts?
Yes.
Clearly.
Dan Patrick, Dan Hicks, all those guys were.
Yeah, Patrick was on CNN. That's right.
They were all part of CNN Sports Tonight at one point. That show was better than Sports Center at that time, but it just
What happened? ESPN came in and snagged him, or did
Right.
CNN shut it down?
Did you hear the story Dan Patrick tells about the legendary This Is Sports Center commercial promos?
Yes, I wanted one.
Well, Rich Eisen is doing these interviews now where he's talking with the guys about the history of Sports Center. And he says that the This Is Sports Center commercials were Dan Patrick's idea. And he had told the producer of the show, whatever, is like, hey, why don't we do some commercials for the show? And the guy looked at him like he had three eyes. He's like, what are you talking about? And he said, just like little commercials about the show. And he said, all right, well, you put it together and we'll see what happens. And so he called Grant Hill, who he knew, because back in those days, like the Sports Center anchors, I mean, those guys were rock stars.
Yeah,
like
they were
knew.
huge.
And so
answered their calls.
he calls Grant Hill and he's like, hey, I've got this idea for a commercial. Will you come and shoot it with me? And he's like, well, how much does it pay? And he's like $250.
No, it was like $2,000. But I mean, that was the other part. He was like, here's the amount of money you got. It wasn't much. So he tells Grant Hill, he's like, hey, it's $2,000. And then I think Grant was like,
but you're going to be on TV. So anyway, he did it. And the first one was like Dan's walking through the lobby at ESPN and Grant Hill's at a grand piano in his Pistons uniform. Playing some lounge music or something. And
how you doing, Dan?
Yeah, they chop it up for a minute. And then the second one was Jason Kidd. And it was the same thing. Like he didn't want to do it, but they got him. And it was Jason Kidd in a helicopter bringing the
fresh
tapes of his highlights to Dan and Keith. They like run out in their suits onto the helicopter pad. Jason Kidd jumps out of the helicopter in uniform, hands him the tapes. Check out the third quarter.
And they're like, why don't you come in? And he's like, no, I got to get back. We got a game tonight.
The big buzz about all those spots, my wife was working at ESPN at that point, and they had hired Wyden and Kennedy, which was the agency that did all the Nike Just Do It campaigns and everything. And so they spent major money. And so it was like, this cannot fail if we're going to do this. And so they brought in like an award-winning agency to kind of lead the creative, and people like Patrick and others had all the other stuff that they could add to it. It was like a marriage made in heaven. Those spots were fantastic.
I mean, they were funny. I mean, one of my favorites was Big Papi, David Ortiz, where they like hand him a hat. And it's a Yankees hat. He's kind of breaking it in, puts it on, and Wally walks by.
Oh yeah,
he's like, Wally, wait.
I didn't mean it. My favorite all time was the Y2K one.
No,
where they're like, we're preparing for Y2K in case it all goes to hell.
Down.
And so like the electricity goes through, and you see Mark McGuire in full uniform, like comes out. It's just this crazed look in his eye and a bat, and he's like hitting a computer screen or something. And then Charlie Steiner
his tie
jumps up. Yeah, he's got his tie wrapped around his head and his face is painted. He's carrying a lantern, and he just looks in the camera and goes, follow me to freedom.
They were almost every one of them were. I mean, that was the thing. They were all funny, and they got starting with Grant Hill all the way up to, I could just mention Metallica. They got those guys to actually come in and play along with it.
The one of Peyton and Eli taking the tour with Archie.
Yeah.
And they're like picking on each other. Very relatable. As an older brother, I was like, that was me and my brothers on every family trip anywhere, with my dad shooting us that look. You idiots.
They had the one, I think it was Van Pelt and Stuart Scott, where it was kind of like the Chicago Bulls starting lineup. And they came out with suits on, and the lights came down. They were coming on set for Sports Center, and they would announce them. And like Van Pelt ripped off the suit, which was a warm-up suit, and he had another suit on underneath it. Basically, it was awesome. That they're very clever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get Matty Ice in here. Matt, you're on the drive. It's Fan Run Radio. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, I'll make it quick. Bob, you were talking about the Pat McAfee show, and I don't know why it doesn't get talked about enough, but when he first rolled out that show, he would do it at the Indy training camp, and this was a long time ago. Tennessee was scheduling, I guess, West Virginia to play in football, so I called in naturally to talk to him about if he was going to make it up, being a big West Virginia alum, if he was going to make it to the game. And I'm surprised with AI and everything, they haven't brought up this segment, but I remember on that call after I hung up, he was very honest. He was like, guys, this is going to be an unpopular take. I'm not a big college football guy. I've never have been. It's not my favorite. I'm way more into pro. And just to see him now as one of the big faces of college football, it's just funny to see what a few dollars will make you sing. But that's just my take on Pat McAfee. I love him as a caller, but I'm with you, Bob. He's just a different guy. And I can't remember the show, but do y'all remember when Reese Davis, this is back when ESPN had money, he would dress like a judge and he would listen to the old Notre Dame coach.
College football finals.
Yeah, it was with Holtz and Mark May.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic. Hey, boys, have a day.
Yeah, Reese Davis kind of grew out of his – he was so good on that show, and now that College Game Day is just a shell of – it's gotten – I don't know what the words I'm looking for here is, but it feels like they're just going through the motions. It's still big, but it's not. It doesn't have the juice that it had when Chris Fowler was doing it.
It's jumped the shark.
Yes,
they have so many sponsored segments and everything.
Here's
else.
The band. Here's the crowd. All the things.
Now, one thing we didn't talk about with McAfee, but it does bear saying, is that $60 million a year that they're talking about. Currently, he gets about $30 million a year. By the way. He is also that's a dual deal. It's a production agreement as well as a talent agreement. So he has to also pay for his team. All those guys you see on TV with him, everything else. He's got to pay for the production of his show out of that money. So he's still, nobody's crying the blues for him. He's still super rich, but that's why those numbers, when I see them, they're crazy, but it's not like he's pocketing $60 million. He may only be pocketing $40 million, but still more money than we could ever imagine in our lifetime.
I'll tell you, talking about these commercials, I was just looking up some of them. The GOAT has got to be, for me, John Clayton. I found out Clayton was a Slayer fan.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
His mom's house.
Classic.
There's over 400 of them.
Can I take a unsolicited shot at somebody and just send a stray someone's way?
Somebody we know, or
no?
Oh,
just an announcer that I just have never liked. I don't think I ever will like.
Okay,
Joe Tessitore.
To me, he's
too much, man. You're doing Ole Miss at Vandy at 12 noon on a Saturday.
Most of us are still hungover, buddy.
Dial it down just a little bit. I understand it's broadcasting. We've got to be excited, but dude, come on, man. You're pouring it on a little thick.
Yeah. I don't know. Are there any of the – I was trying to think of who were some of the old Jefferson Pilot guys from
the
back in the
Daves?
day? Dave Neal and –
you just had to be named Dave. They had just stable of Daves. Can't remember any of the other ones, but yeah, they were all Dave. Dave Neal, man. Dude's a machine. My favorite story about him is a guy I know who was doing their stats as their spotter once. Dave Neal does, he's everywhere. Like he does 3-4 games a week. Like it's just, and he's been doing it for 30 or 40 years. So he can literally do a game in his sleep. And my buddy was doing stats and spotting for him at a Kentucky women's basketball game years ago, like Tuesday, Wednesday night. They're, they don't play at Rupp. They're at the old Memorial Gym and they're playing a game. And he says, Dave Neal is just doing this game on his phone the entire time. Just scrolling, texting, emailing,
just automatic.
Barely looked up, just doing the game. He's on his phone.
I mean, I was impressed with you doing the top 4 and top 5 with minimal prep and just kind of.
Oh, that reminds me, I got to throw it together. Oh, damn it.
That whole thing, but
whatever happened there.
Justin Hanna on X put his top 5 sports media personalities. Stuart Scott.
Pretty good.
Tony Kornheiser. Paul Feinbaum before ESPN neutered him.
Okay.
Darrell Waltrip and Jim Ross.
I love DW.
With an honorable mention for
Boogity.
Robin Miller, who rest in peace, Robin Miller. That guy was fantastic. Did auto racing.
I'll see his Jim Ross and I'll top him. Gordon Soley, Channel 17 Wrestling in Atlanta, buddy.
Gordon Soley. Let's take a quick break. Mean Gene Okerlund. GOAT. Oh, yeah. Hour number 3 of The Drive coming up.
The Drive.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of
Top 5 at 5.
Quitting time on your Wednesday, 5 o'clock here on Fan Run Radio. I'm Russell Smith. Thanks for tuning in to The Drive. We get our third and final hour, as always, with a look at today's sports news. The Top 5 at 5 brought to you today by ECR Total Landscapes. Number one, big football news. The Chiefs adding 2 years to Patrick Mahomes' contract in a reworked deal that ties him to Kansas City through 2033 at a value of $504.75 million. Value that makes it the first NFL deal valued at over $500 million.
My God.
It's insane.
Where is this money coming from? We were just talking about it with broadcasters.
New deal is worth $239.05 million with the total value, or the new money on the deal is $239.05 million with the total value now over $500 million from 2026 to 2033. First 4 years being guaranteed at signing. All $504.75 million becomes guaranteed through contract mechanisms. This salary cap wizardry, going back to the day. This reminds me of Carmen Policy and Eddie DeBartolo. Remember the 49ers had the cap figured out back in the 90s. They always had the best teams.
They were, yeah.
Wow. Whoever the Chiefs numbers crunchers are,
they're the Simon
doing
Mall
good work,
people, right?
I guess.
Isn't that where they made their money? The Bartolotos or whatever.
What?
Eddie DeBartolotto.
No, just DeBartolo.
DeBartolo. Yeah, I think they own Westtown. They own Simon Malls.
Number 2, LeBron James. Reaching the end of his storied career, maybe. The GOAT debate between him and Jordan rages on. He's asked about it in a recent interview with Time magazine. LeBron telling Time, quote, "I'm not taking nobody over me."
The hell does that mean?
Nobody teach him about double negatives. Says, "I'm not taking nobody over me. There's no question." End quote. LeBron, the self-proclaimed GOAT.
Can you really be the GOAT if it's self-proclaimed? Like Michael Jordan and certainly Kobe never referred to themselves.
Yeah, no, I just picturing Jordan from the Last Dance, like reading LeBron's quote on the iPad and just snickering.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason.
Would have been a backup 2-guard on the Bulls back in the day.
I draw the correlation to, the skill level, the accomplishments, they're nowhere near correlations. But remember when Joe Milton had a game against, was it like UT San Antonio, and he scored a rushing touchdown late in the game, and he did the whole crowned himself in the end zone.
Hey, man.
It's like, oh, please, man.
Celebrate while you can. Life is short.
You not a big Joe fan, Bob?
No, I don't mind Joe. I'm just saying, man, let somebody else say you're great. You don't need to go and
on the
I love the guys who celebrate the defensive backs who they make a tackle 15 yards downfield in the second quarter and they get up just strutting, point to themselves, flexing for the cameras.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're losing by 12. But congratulations on the tackle. Number 3, speaking of the NBA, finals continue tonight in New York City. Spurs-Knicks, Game 4, 8:30 p.m. tip-off on ABC. The Knicks, a 2.5-point favorite. Series is getting good.
Big game. If the Knicks lose tonight,
think it's over?
Who do you think wins then? It's then a best 2 out of 3.
I don't know. I'd have to go back to San Antonio for 2, and then, or does it do that thing where it starts going?
It's 1-1-1, but San Antonio gets to host 2 of 3.
They need to win tonight to not put themselves. But who knows? They won 2 in San Antonio. They looked a lot better in San Antonio than they did in New York. But it was such a wacky night that night with all the extracurricular
I wonder if the Spurs have figured something out because, I mean, they've controlled the early part of all 3 games and then faltered late at home, and they didn't falter in game 3. So,
I mean, that Zebra's helping them, Russ.
Stop. Did you happen to see Jon Stewart Monday night?
I did not.
He did a bit with, it's timely. It was with talking about the Knicks and everything else, and he did a thing with Elmo. And Stewart he does the Elmo thing. So
I was going to say, what isn't the guy who does Elmo? Isn't he?
He's an interesting guy. But
the kids likes the kids a little.
But
too
it
much.
was Elmo Elmo who's on the run from bookies.
Oh, Elmo's gotten in a little too deep.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Full Sorsby.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny stuff. He
broke Elmo's
talking
leg.
about what Elmo bet on the Knicks game and everything. It was good. It was good stuff.
Number 4, Major League Baseball happening right now. You've got the Nats up 2-0. Getting ready for the World Cup. Kicks off tomorrow. In San Francisco, Tony Vitello's Giants looking for a couple of timely hits to get back in that one. The bottom of the 5th, plenty of time to do it. Bottom of the 4th in San Diego, Reds up 2-1 on the Padres. Earlier today, it was the Yankees defeating the Guardians 8-4 in Cleveland. And the Rays beat the Red Sox. Boy, they suck. 7-5 at the Trop. Number 5, a man in Maine is facing charges after he was accused of holding a woman against her will and forcing her into a marriage and then hurting her in a, quote, satanic ritual. Police in Newington, New Hampshire arrested 47-year-old Dan Ouellette at an Olive Garden, where every Satanist eventually gives it up, after a mother contacted Pennsylvania State Police about tracking her daughter's phone to the location. Court documents say officers saw cigarette burns on the woman's legs after she ran from the restaurant asking for an emergency restraining order against Ouellette. Court documents also allege officers found a satanic Bible, sweatshirt, and bag in Ouellette's car. He's accused of having a gun and forcing the woman to marry him, pointing a gun at her while she was driving and saying a religious cult was following them. Wow. He also cut her hand for a satanic ritual in Kittery, Maine. He told her that if she talks to anybody, he would have to kill her.
What a wackadoo this guy was.
Yeah, but he took her to the Olive Garden. I mean,
for their reception.
Wow. You got
kept it classy.
Free breadsticks and salad. Fill up. Maybe a little street gorgonzola Alfredo.
It just sounds like this guy, you just need to lock him up in the rubber room. Give him some medications and just kind of, keep medicating him.
Where would you find a satanic Bible? It's not the kind of thing they sell at Barnes & Noble.
I'll Google it.
Have to order that special.
What kind of watch list this will put me on?
Like what is the satanic Bible? Is it divided into books? Do they have an Old Testament and a New Testament?
I have no idea, Russ.
Does it just start at Revelation? I mean, what are we doing here? They have the Gospels according to the 4 guys.
I don't know.
You don't want to talk about this at all, though. The devil stuff kind of scares you.
Whoa. You can buy it on eBay.
What?
Yes.
How much?
Hey, you can buy it on Amazon.
Who's it written by?
Oh, it's that famous Satanist. What's his name?
Aleister Crowley?
No.
Jimmy Page?
Anton LaVey.
Oh, I've heard of that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. $7.99.
I mean, for access to that kind of important knowledge, I mean,
let's live it up.
Priceless, right?
$7.99, I'll buy a round.
No thanks. I'm a lapsed, but
hey, why don't you go ahead and buy that, Bear, and let's perform some sort of satanic ritual. See if we can get Josh Heupel a championship this year. Faison Brandon is a true freshman leading us to the top of the hill. All we have to do is sell our soul, which, if we're being completely honest, years of being Tennessee fans have pretty much chipped away at whatever's left of that to begin with. So what are we talking about? I'm sorry, Bob. Am I getting too grim for you?
No, I'm laughing. I'm thinking of something else that's,
all right.
I always have a drink, right?
Yeah.
According to Amazon, Russ, it's a philosophical text establishing the Church of Satan, founded to celebrate carnal desires and challenge Christian hypocrisy, as observed through carnival experiences and religion. This guy was a carny. He was a damn organ player in a carnival. Yeah, sorry.
So, like, he's like L. Ron Hubbard. He went the other way.
Yeah, I'll take my advice from, people that are now saints and
the good
apostles
Lord above
and God himself.
What about your drink, Bob?
Oh, I think I'll hang on to that one.
I never remember
you can't
my
just
drink.
tease us like that. His drink.
Oh.
D-R-I-N-K. Drink.
Well, enunciate a little bit better over there.
He said it 3 times. Listen to the man. You keep interrupting him. He's got a story about his drink.
Well, tell us what it is, Bob.
Well, now it's not going to be any good.
Sure it will. You're a funny guy.
I was just we were saying, hey, you want to win a national title or whatever, you do a deal with the devil. And I was saying maybe one day you're looking over and you're saying, Bob, what is that you're drinking? And it's blood. It's like,
I don't. That scared the hell out of me, Bob.
Yeah.
Like your eyes turn completely
Would you
black.
drink a glass of blood if
No.
it meant a title?
No.
You wouldn't?
Oh, God. No.
How committed are you? I'll drink anything for a national title.
Oh, take it easy.
Anything.
Easy.
Anything. 32 ounces of the worst filth you can find. If it ends in a national championship, I'll drain that thing. Let's go.
Whoa.
32 ounces of the water out from behind that creek at the old studio. I mean, you're going to enjoy that national championship maybe for a year.
How about 8 ounces?
Nah, you said 32, boss.
Just
I got to be alive to enjoy it. You'll remember me on championship night.
Like Russ gave the ultimate sacrifice.
He gave all. He gave his all for Tennessee, literally.
Whoever knew you could get,
He died
hair
for the
cancer.
Big Orange. All right, that is the top 5 at 5, brought to you by ECR Total Landscapes. Let them handle all the heavy lifting in your yard this summer. They'll come out and de-weed your flower beds. They will trim up your grass, get it looking real good, do the edges, make sure the curb is looking good down there. Get everything looking straight. They'll put the lines on it. They'll do everything for you, trimming, mulching, and more. Check out ECRTotalLandscapes.com or just call 865-384-2012. Tell them you heard about it here on Fan Run Radio, and you'll get 10% off your first month of the monthly maintenance package. Yes, 10% off when all you have to do is mention promo code FANRUN, either by calling or going online. Again, ECRTotalLandscapes.com. Tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Coming up, we're going to be joined by our old pal Jake Crane of Crane & Company. We will talk to him about the issues of the day. We will sit and talk about sports as men do, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Getting a vote for Charles Barkley as the best sports media personality. How could we forget Big Chuck?
I don't know. I thought about it. Inside the NBA guys, the true star of that show, I feel like, is Ernie.
When the other night when Cardi B was dancing, and Chuck said, "Oh, about Cardi B, those look like some Cardi D's."
Yeah, he's
oh, come on, that's good.
He's like one of us.
That's good stuff.
He's outstanding.
The interaction him and Shaq have.
Well, I was going to say, Barkley's not nearly as good without Shaq there laughing at him, because I'll watch Shaq just get, tickled by what Barkley's saying.
Yeah.
I can watch that all night.
I think Shaq is, you got to have, when you're putting a show together, you want to have everybody's got a role to play.
Yeah.
Right. And they know their roles pretty good. Ernie's a good Wheelman sets everything up and then lets the guys do it. Kenny's kind of the serious one at times, and Chuck's the goofy uncle, and then Shaq's like the guy in the background just kind of laughing. It's good stuff.
There was something that just happened like in one of the playoff series, and Kenny said something, and there was something visually that just didn't look right. And Charles, all you could hear Charles off camera say is, "Come on, man." And then you can just hear Shaq just lose it, just lose it.
What do you think about the Pardon My Take guys? Big Cat, PMT. I've never listened to an entire one of their podcasts. I know it's like the most popular sports podcast in the world. Every time I see one of their videos or listen to a snippet, I like it.
Yeah,
it's funny. Those guys are talented. I enjoy it, but I've never gotten into it.
You know how the best thing that I watch out of all those guys is the macro dosing with, I think it's PMT and Big T, who went to Tennessee.
Bear likes the one about drugs. Go figure.
I was banging 7 grams.
Well, no, it's Arian Foster. I don't know why they call it macro dosing, but
yes, you do.
I really don't.
Now, you mentioned Kenny Smith.
Run lie detector, just smoke coming out the sides of it right now.
But it's
on fire.
It's a really good show.
This is back to Kenny Smith for a second. Powerlifting Vol says Kenny Smith hasn't been good since his legs were straight. Now, I'm not going to make light of that, but I've noticed the dude is severely knock-kneed, right? And you know who else is? And my wife caught this, was Don Staley. And I just wonder if that's like a former player thing or what. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
I mean,
all those knock-kneed.
Their knees kind of
like
go in.
The opposite of bow-legged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny's is really obvious, man. You can see it when he gets up and walks up to do the illustration stuff. Yeah.
Kenny's probably, most of those guys have some type of pretty significant.
Yeah, you played
stuff.
Professional basketball in the NBA for a long time.
Fingers
you're gonna
mangled
have you're gonna have feet, knee, back. You're gonna have something.
I mean, Earl Campbell's like in a wheelchair, isn't he?
Oh God,
I tell you the saddest thing is we were talking about bodybuilding yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
you guys know Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah, I've seen him. That's who I thought.
Like he was like an 8-time Mr. Olympia. Probably has had like the best physique of any human being of all time. All kinds of steroids, did insane lifts back in the day. And I mean, he's had like a dozen back surgeries and he's just all messed up now. Can't walk, in a wheelchair, still like he's addicted to lifting, like still lifts where he can.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
But he's probably like 50, 55 and is just.
I mean, talking like that, have you seen what happened to Ontario Smith? Thoughts and prayers out to him.
Well, he had an illness, right?
He had a stroke.
Okay.
But he's in a wheelchair now. He's like 300-something pounds.
All right, quick timeout. Jake Crane, Crane & Company, On 3 Sports. Coming up next, it's Fan Run Radio. Stay with us.
The Drive. The Drive. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Thursday afternoon edition of the show, and pleased to be joined by Jake Crane of Crane and Cone on 3 Sports. Good afternoon, Jake. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, guys. Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. I was just looking at your Twitter timeline there. I guess you guys are timely, if nothing else, on Crane and Cone. The Texas Tech season preview has dropped from Crane and Cone, and I guess that you got plenty to talk about on that one.
Yeah, well, the past couple of days we've been talking about the off-the-field stuff with Texas Tech, and, a wise man once told me fish where the fish are, so I thought it was a good idea to drop the Texas Tech preview. They dropped the Oklahoma one today, too, as well, so we like to knock out a lot of these season previews around this time and give people something to watch to get excited as we're only a couple months away, and then we get into predictions, and we've even got some of the early game previews out. So, yeah, man, we're rocking and rolling and talking college baseball, too. So it's a fun time.
It's a wonderful time of year, man. So many different sporting events going on for it being the middle of June. But, yeah, the latest round of college football chaos that has erupted here with Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech. He's declared eligible despite having a gambling habit that would make Pete Rose blush. What is the end game here, Jake? Do you think he is actually going to be able to suit up for the Red Raiders this season?
Well, if it's Texas Tech versus NCAA, then yeah, I think he will. He's got the 2-game suspension. This is just, and I said this when it happened, and I'm starting to see some more people say it. This is either going to be the worst thing for college sports or the best thing. And what I mean by that is, if they don't, it could be so egregious, it pushes the NCAA out of college football, and we can go ahead and get this Super League thing going like we always knew was going to happen, and be able to get to a point, whether it's by adding collective bargaining, to get that antitrust, to where we can actually have legitimate rules, guidelines, and an enforcement wing, guys, that can, wait for it, actually enforce the rules. But, to me, this proves this is the most black and white, cut and dry, should have been the easiest win ever for the NCAA in court, and yet they lose this one. So if you lose this one, my question is, it's two-parter. One, which one are you ever going to win? And two, what is the point of you guys hanging around here?
That's exactly, hey, Jake, appreciate you joining us. That's exactly what I've been saying. I keep using the term existential for the NCAA, and I've used it multiple times now because they seem to keep not being able to get out of their own way. And this is another one, man. I just, it blows my mind. And I agree. I mean, I agree with what you're saying too, that maybe there could be a good outcome that results in this, but how long would that take? And my other question is, it kind of parlays into this whole thing where a lot of Big 12 conference ADs and, well, Georgia, other schools too, are saying, we're not playing those guys. I mean, is that really possible, man? What is the ruling on that? Does that mean forfeits for some of those teams?
Yeah,
it's really puzzling to me.
Yeah, well, the teams that aren't in the conference, it's obviously a lot easier. What I want to know is for the teams that have already scheduled Texas Tech in the future that don't want to play them now, what happens with that? How does that work? But as far as the Big 12, I mean, yesterday we did a show and we went through it. There are a couple levers that the Big 12 could pull if they wanted. You need, I think, 75% of the board to agree that this has such a negative impact that there's a couple of consequences. One, they could go after the money, the media revenue, or two, and again, I would be shocked if this happened, they're basically able to kick Texas Tech out of the Big 12. That's the layman's way of going through it. But again, Brett Yormark's in a weird place because, this isn't his fault. Brett Yormark had nothing to do with this. But with Sorsby, and I mean with Sorsby, Texas Tech is the only team in the Big 12 that can actually win the whole thing. Not make the playoff, not win a couple games in the playoff, but actually win the whole thing. So if you take Sorsby down, and we know the investment that Texas Tech has made being in the Big 12 after Texas and Oklahoma ran to the SEC, how aggressive is Yormark going to be with that? So I would have paid money to be in that meeting with your Mark and the president and the board to see whether that was really just a let's save face or people are legitimately upset.
And now you've got the Texas Tech folks. I don't know if you saw the Ross Dellinger piece today, preemptively saying, well, if you try to do any of that, if you keep us out of the championship game or whatever you're going to do, we're going to sue you for that too. So
yeah.
I mean, maybe Texas Tech, maybe the Red Raiders are just the villains that we didn't know college football needed, Jake.
Well, nobody's happier than Lane Kiffin and Michigan fans right now. But, I always – history can teach us a lesson. If Texas Tech wants to take on the world, I watched the Germans try and do it twice, and they thought they were really good, and they got absolutely smoked, especially the second time. So you can do that if you want. You can go down this road, and I know Cody Campbell has a lot of money, but he doesn't have as much money as everybody else combined. And I have never in my life, maybe outside of the Penn State scandal, seen all of college football, media, fans, teams, administrators, all on the same side going against one thing as we have with this Texas Tech situation.
So is Sorsby Rommel in this German analogy? Where does he figure in? We won't say we won't say who the big guy is. Don't want to get anybody canceled today.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying they're that. I would, if I had to guess, I would probably say right now he's more Goering because he's not going to be there early, but he's going to try and be there late. I guess for any historical buffs out there, but it's just this is the craziest thing. We were doing a show, okay, and halfway through, our producer comes in our ear and says, "Hey guys, I'm not trying to screw anybody up here, but just want to let you know, Brendan Sorsby's eligible." And very rarely am I shocked anymore, especially with a 16-month-old. Very rarely am I shocked. My jaw hit the floor because either you've got the best lawyers of all time or the NCAA is feckless, man. Like, this is way beyond the pale. Like, it's one of the mortal sins, right? That you can make. And you bet on your own team. Yeah. What are we doing? So now, like I said the other day, okay, well, if he's not going to get in trouble because it's going to cause him irreparable harm in his career, and it's because of mental illness, if I go rob this bank down the street from my house tomorrow and tell the cops I'm a kleptomaniac, I should be able to get an injunction, right?
Yeah. Okay, I want to get your take. You mentioned Cody Campbell, too. And at one point earlier in the week, I was angry when I saw him writing, the system's broken. And then he turns around and says, I'm paraphrasing here, but it'd be a great solution would be the College Sports Commission. I guess it falls into that. Now I'm kind of like, never waste, as the adage goes, never waste a good, crisis. And it feels like this is where we are, man. This is a guy who's just a very obviously wealthy, influential booster at this point, he does have some sway, but I mean, I was kind of struck by the fact that he tried to pivot this into, hey, I've got another thing I'm working on where this might be able to help us.
If you keep up with politics, this is the most political thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Hey, we're going to fix the system, but I'm going to break it. Like, it's just like, oh, hey, insider trading's bad, but I just made $20 million last year in stocks, so my net worth was $100,000 when I entered Congress. It's just talking out of both sides of your mouth, man. Rules for thee, but not for me. And I know Coach McGuire, and I'm going to tell you right now, he is a phenomenal human being. Has been awesome every time I've talked to him. Coaches love coaching for him. He's a family man, God-fearing man, and he's in a tough spot. Because if you think about it, and he put himself in this, I'm not excusing it. They didn't do their due diligence, or they did their due diligence, saw he didn't get in trouble for it at Cincinnati, so he won't get in trouble for it here, and then he got caught. But imagine you went to your boosters and said, I need $6 million to go get us a quarterback to win the whole thing. And they say, okay, here it is. and then you bring him in and he gets suspended. So you look like a fool because it was a controllable thing. And then on the flip side of that, you know, we live in a society nowadays where if a coach goes against a player, it's going to be really hard to get any other players, especially from the portal. So I don't envy the position him or your marker in. If I was him, and again, I know Cody Campbell has a lot of power, I would have probably called Cody Campbell and said, man, you got to stop, man. Like, you got to stop. Like, you're not the head coach of this team. You're going on all these shows, saying all this stuff. It's making us look worse. You're not helping. You're rich. Go be rich. Go, don't want a yacht, right? Go see the Eiffel Tower, right? Go watch that robot they have that can tell you what a dog's really thinking. Like, I don't know. Just don't do this.
Jake Crane of Crane & Cone on 3 Sports with us this afternoon. Jake, as a Auburn insider, I've got to get your thoughts on the scene down on the plains last night, the World Cup tune-up match. Lionel Messi, which I believe is Argentinian for Bo Jackson, scoring as many points at Jordan Hare last night as Hugh Freeze did against Kentucky on the same field.
Yeah, well, you know, it was amazing watching Jordan Hare and not being disappointed when the offense goes 3 and out in their first 4 possessions. It was actually kind of a nice watch.
Refreshing.
No, this is awesome. Again, and not just at Jordan Hare. I mean, all across the country. Look, we should just have the World Cup in SEC country. That's what I think. Let's have it all down here. I'm watching these Germans that came over, just getting American pilled. I mean, they think Buc-ee's is the greatest thing of all time, and then you see an eagle fly around the stadium. Now you know why we run things in this big blue ball.
That's awesome.
Hey, come back. Wait till you see the marching bands and the cheerleaders. You got to come back and see this in the fall.
Dude, come back in the fall and see it. It's gonna be 10 times what it is. But I mean, Lionel Messi scoring a goal at Jordan Hare. I mean, you want to talk about a sentence I thought I would never say. That it's pretty cool, man.
Hey, let's jump to baseball because even though the guys from Knoxville are not in it, the College World Series is about to happen, and we haven't talked. I think when we last talked to you, Jake, we were just getting ready to start the regionals and all that stuff. And man, if we rewind for a second, it sure feels like the regionals. I thought they were great, and I feel like there's I keep saying there's kind of a March Madness vibe now to college baseball.
Oh, it's been incredible, and I love to see it. As a baseball lover, as a guy that played college baseball myself, you know, the recognition that it is starting to get and the viewership numbers, it's awesome, and they should be awesome. It's a fantastic sport. The way it's set up is a fantastic sport. The only thing I got to wait for now is them to ruin it and expand the tournament, which I'm shocked that hasn't happened yet. But no, it was great. The environment. I mean, you look at Morgantown. Right? You look at Lincoln, Nebraska. We know the SEC schools, like how crazy that's going to be. And then I think the super regionals outdid them. I mean, you got Little Rock and Troy in a super, which is awesome. You've got Georgia and Mississippi State, which was basically playing home run derby. And you know, it's so cool watching how much better college baseball has gotten across the board too. I mean, guys, 10 years ago, if you had multiple guys throwing 95, let me just give you the trophy. Now, you got guys coming out for Troy pumping 95 out of the pen, and I think it's done nothing but make the sport better.
Yeah, we've adopted West Virginia as our official team.
Oh, yeah.
Here on the show. We can't cheer for any of the other SEC rivals, Jake, but we are trying to figure out today if West Virginia wins, do we have to burn a couch?
Well, I've always thought about opening up a furniture store in Morgantown because they probably do crazy numbers. The amount of, you know, you always root for West Virginia to do good. I hope they win it personally, just because, you know, I've talked about them. We've talked a lot with their fans. I thought the Morgantown environment was just absolutely insane. And look, they're good. To be honest with you, like, I know a lot of people are picking Georgia, but buddy, this is a pitcher's park. And you better have the pitching to go all the way. You're not going to home run your way through Omaha, and I like that. And West Virginia, when you look at Yale, when you look at Chanson Cole, when you look at Montesa, they got some guys, and I think they're going to throw their big lefty, their ace, against Troy. And if they do that, he's the extra day of rest, and probably be able to go on Wednesday. So, yeah, I'm rooting for him. I just can't wait to watch it.
One more baseball question for me, Jake, and that is, I heard you guys talking about it as well. The hiring of Kevin Schnall at South Carolina, you think this puts the Gamecocks back on the map in the SEC?
100%. Home run hire, pun intended. I really love the way this guy goes about it. And you watch the way his players play for him. I think that's the biggest compliment because he's tough on them, but great players want you to be tough on them. That's what the great ones want. They don't want to be babied. And you see what he's done at Coastal, continuing that awesome tradition. And I can't wait to see who Coastal hires. But is it not weird, guys? And I think you'll agree with me on this. When I grew up, South Carolina, Miami, and Nebraska were all powerhouses. And watching South Carolina, the fall off there in baseball has been crazy to me. So I feel like college baseball is better when South Carolina's better. And all Kevin Schnall has done, and I think will do, is win. South Carolina's a place that can win right now. They'll invest money in it. I understand why he took it. And I'm rooting for him, man. I like the guy a lot. I like the way he goes about his business. And he's not afraid to talk a little ish, too.
Yeah, he's going to be like, we're going to butt heads with that guy here in East Tennessee. And he's actually the only guy we know of that interviewed for the Tennessee job when Vitello left. So there's that tie. And Elander was actually up for the South Carolina job when they gave it to Maneri. So they probably should have hired him.
How are y'all feeling? How are y'all feeling about Elander right now? What's kind of the vibe?
We want him to succeed, man. We're pulling for him. He's a nice guy. He's highly organized. He's killing it so far in the portal. You know, he got this pitcher Trosclair that LSU wanted. They got the number 5 overall guy in the portal from Mercer that everybody wanted, and so he's bringing in some highly touted guys, and they're recruiting well. But, you know, he's going to have to figure it out on the field. We always talked about, you know, Vitello got to make his mistakes as a new manager in obscurity. Nobody was paying attention here in 2017, 2018. And Elander's doing it under this huge microscope. So he's going to have to up his game as a manager, but I think the early returns are pretty positive.
Yeah, I think the circumstance of what he had to inherit last year, obviously a lot of talent, but it was late in the season in baseball coaching terms.
Just the challenge of following a rock star.
You know who that sounds like to me? Sounds like Stephen Pearl to me.
Well,
God,
hope it goes better.
And look, I think Stephen's going to do great.
Okay.
I think Elander's going to be fine. I wasn't saying that as like a bad thing, just from a timing standpoint. And then it's always funny when people are like, "Oh, well, you were on the staff when Vitello did it. Just do what he did." You can't coach that. You can't coach like somebody else.
Yeah.
And you need a full year. You need a full off season. You know, you learn a little bit from every coach that you coach for, and then you take that and it forms what you're going to be as the head coach. So I think Josh is going to be fine. Again, you guys are willing to pay to get good players. Just let the man figure out. This is not, even when you take over a winning program, like it's not easy. It's not just like plug and play. So I think Josh will be just fine.
Great stuff, Jake. Really appreciate the time. Everybody go check out Crane and Cone on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Jake Crane with On 3 Sports. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it, fellas. Y'all be good out there.
Thank you, Jake.
Jake Crane one more time. They vote of confidence for Elander and Stephen Pearl. Not sure how I feel about that one, but
he's true to his school.
You know, West High Rebels out there succeeding. Stay with us. The drive continues. It's Fan Run Radio. The shocking conclusion coming up next.
The Drive. Miss any of your favorite Fan Run show? Listen to the podcast on our free
If Texas Tech goes to court against the Big 12, it will have a steep hill to climb, convincing any judge that an injunction is in the public's interest, which is one of the requirements for obtaining a preliminary injunction.
My question, because I assume that Texas Tech would file this lawsuit.
Wait a minute, are we getting legal here right now? Is that what's
Absolutely.
happening?
Hit my music, please. Thank you. Texas Tech's going to want that in a Texas courtroom. The Court of Appeals is made up of judges that all graduated from Tech. They all live in Lubbock.
Really?
That's what I saw online earlier on Twitter. Somebody was dug into it, looked up the judges on. You don't think that
is that what you tell the judge when he asks for a sidebar and you cite some obscure case or ruling and you're like, I saw it online earlier, Judge.
Well, no, I don't speak to judges. I'll let my lawyer do that.
Who is your lawyer?
I got
some guy
couple.
that makes.
You've got a couple
that makes Saul Goodman look reputable.
No, I've got.
You've got representation.
Yeah.
He's got a legal team.
He's always one handles.
You got F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, the dream team, working on it for you.
Well, no, you got to have somebody that specializes.
Johnny
in,
Cochran,
like civil stuff, and then if you ever find yourself in trouble, you need a.
There's times where he has his legal team meeting with his undercover team that helps him with all this other.
You got a lot of teams.
Fact check.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Say behind every successful man.
Oh, well, you acted smug, Bob. You're on the Tiger
teams.
team now, my friend.
I'm just helping.
I'll get you a T-shirt at some point.
Well, yeah, I just feel bad for you since Walker's just become a deadbeat.
Walker has just flaked out, hasn't he?
He's lazy. He's no good.
We love Walker.
And he's a terrible burden to the drive. Let's get Roberto in here next. Roberto, you're on the drive. It's Fan Run Radio. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, gents. Just been going through your top broadcasters. I'm sure Harry Carey's been brought up, right?
No.
Yeah, but we never really clarified that he was. I thought we were just doing living. Obviously, Harry Carey
all time. Yeah.
Harry Carey, John. Summerall, Madden.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was living.
Well, I don't think we.
Sean McDonough, I haven't heard yet either.
No, he's great. He's good. He's really good.
Looking forward to hearing
him. Have you listened to him this week during the NHL stuff?
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable.
But we talked about this. You watch enough of this stuff. As good as McDonough is, I'd still take Doc Emmerich over him. I thought Emmerich was maybe the best of all time.
Him on a racing call too.
Yeah.
People miss that. And Sean McDonough then. How about that one? Or David Faraday, there's one.
Oh, David Faraday. He's pretty good, isn't he? Isn't he, lass?
You're not high-pitched enough there, Russ.
What I remember about Harry Carey is how he used to, to kill the time during at-bats and stuff, he started pronouncing players' names backwards. It was the weirdest.
You got cram.
I was watching the Braves game last night. By the way, that sucked. On WGN, I got the White Sox feed. It was cool. First of all, they're having a throwback, and so they're using all old graphics, which was kind of cool. But I always forget that Steve Stone is on those broadcasts. Now, and I grew up watching him with Harry Carey on the Cubs. It sounds exactly the same. What a great voice.
How many times did Steve Stone pull Harry Carey back from falling out of the window, slobbering drunk?
He had to translate for Harry quite often, as I recall.
Yeah, I remember one time Chuck Cavaleris came up on a Cubs broadcast, and Harry Carey goes, "Cavaleris, that spelled backwards is Sir Alvac." I lost my mind. That's so hilarious.
Why did Chuck Cavaleris come up on a Cubs game?
I don't know. I think he was writing or something, and Harry, I'm sure, had gotten drunk or something and read something.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good deal.
The other one, guys, you're talking about all these the potentials in the portal and all that thing. This Michael Malky kid, Russ, we are missing an opportunity that when he throws a strikeout here, you could hit him with the "don't be ridiculous." We are right there with that.
Yeah, I actually thought about that too, which kind of scares me that you and I are on the same wavelength here, but definitely a Balky Bartakamus type feel to that name.
Men of a certain age, Russ. Yes. Men of a certain age. That was the first show on TGIF ever, wasn't it?
Loved Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Cousin Larry.
Larry Appleton.
Well, guys, we got to go get those two pitchers. They're both conference pitcher of the year in the WAC, I guess, and in the Big East. You got to go get guys like that. I don't even know if they can pitch in this league, but you got to go give it a try because our arms are terrible, and you need power righties. I know the kid from UConn is a lefty. I don't know how you actually pronounce it. Is it Suchi?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've been calling him Suchi, but it might be Suchi. I don't know.
Feels like Suchi is better.
Whatever it is, you got to go get kids like that. And UConn's a great program. So, and Cal Baptist was really good this year. So you got to go get guys like that. And I'm thinking Elander can do it. You were talking with Crane there a minute ago. The Schnall hire he said, home run intentionally. That guy is just so good, guys. And I hope I'm wrong in 5 years, but I think they made the better hire when we had an opportunity to hire him. And I'm now kind of questioning why there was so much pressure on Danny White to not hire Schnall. I don't know if Schnall would have ever come here, but I think you had to give him a real run, and I don't think we did. That guy's a freaking stud coach. So with that, guys, I hope you have a great day and a good weekend.
Thank you, Roberto. Appreciate the phone call.
I've got a hang the banner moment for us right here at the end of the show, Russ.
Yeah.
Message board geniuses have put out their list of the top 10 most unhinged fan bases. Yeah. We're number 1.
Hang the damn banner, Danny White.
Ain't nobody crazier than us.
Message board geniuses said it. It's got to be true.
Hey, Coastal dropped something I wasn't even aware of. He said, we need to talk about Adidas gear starting to drop tomorrow.
I saw something that looked like, I don't know if it's one of the players. It's already got the stuff.
No, it's the practice jerseys. Tyreek King and Quay Moss put out the pictures of their practice jerseys, which are always going to look a little different. I'm not a fan of the 3 Adidas stripes over the shoulders, but that's what everybody wears. So I guess that's no big deal. But yeah, the recruits, I think DGG was photographed in some of the throwback Adidas jackets.
It is a hectic summer so far.
I'm telling you, man, I'm always worried, like when baseball ended, I was like, oh man, what are we going to do now? And we have had no shortage of stuff to talk about.
The Crane stuff was really interesting. He did talk about something. I was just sitting there because I looked at this tweet. It was that the Chad Campbell guy, or Cody Campbell, whatever the hell his name is, Buddy Garrity Jr.
Buddy Garrity. There you go.
I figured I remembered it. That's the reason I didn't watch the show. Maybe I ought to give it another shot.
His daughter, Minka Kelly.
I mean, he's referring to himself as we. And this is like the thing that the specter that used to loom over the NCAA, over college sports. You were not allowed to get in bed with the boosters. And now we're sitting here. We got a billionaire,
it's like a big old water
mega booster saying we.
What would you rather have? A guy like that who's billionaire and that dude's not interested in their business school or anything. He wants to hang banners. He wants to win championships. Do you want Buddy Garrity, crazy loudmouth booster guy, Texas oil guy, or do you want what we have, the more conservative, play it out behind the scenes, smoke-filled room types? Or Haslam's got as much money as this guy does, but they don't flaunt it.
Well, they don't act common. It's obvious that this guy's, I don't know. I think he's just kind of, it's almost classless. And the Texas Tech statement they put out, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope they get banished, man. Just banish them, the whole damn university.
They're the new villain of college sports.
They're beyond villain.
They play this guy.
We didn't even talk about. They're still unraveling. You want to talk about villains still? We can talk about it tomorrow. Will Wade. There's some pretty good intel now on what's coming out about this guy who wrote about this. The rumors were back in February about this guy.
Oh, the NC State stuff.
Yeah,
he was talking to LSU during their season in February. He wanted that job, coveted that job, was always going to leave. Straight up lying to the Raleigh press, saying, "No, I'm not going to leave." When he knew damn good and well he was leaving. And not only that, he had his people during the season scouring the globe, literally in Europe, scouting foreign players in preparation for the move to LSU.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing well in advance.
Well, I'll tell you, Nate Oates, buddy, you got some competition for sleaziest coach in the SEC.
It's like you thought Lane Kiffin had the offseason villain award on lockdown. Along comes Texas Tech. You thought that Nate Oates, it couldn't get any sleazier, and Will Wade says, "Hold my beer."
That's the one thing with Texas Tech. You heard Jake talk about it, and also talk about Joey McGuire, but also Grant McCandless, the basketball coach. They have great coaches there. I feel bad for those guys because they're going to be